with Sky Bet. It is the last day of the Premier League season. That man there, Pep Guardiola, looking to retain the Premier League trophy for the first time for Manchester City. It is a huge day of football, and of course, there are 10 matches all going on at the same time. And I'm looking at all the screens around us, and we are going to cover every single match, every single goal as it goes in. But no guessing what our feature games will be. They are, of course, Liverpool against Wolves and Brighton against Man City. Delighted to say, joining us back on the Football Social, it's Sean Goater. Great to have you back on the show. How excited are you at the prospect of your former club winning the Premier League trophy?
Well, you know, we're champions. We know what we are. So it's exciting to be back here. It's exciting to just see this game go through and the boys do what they have to do. Simple.
You are very, very confident about today, aren't you?
I am. I believe the players will not come this far to slip up. I just believe that.
OK, Hamill, you are with us. Great to have you back on the show, as always, mate. Liverpool against Wolves. How do you see this title race unfolding? Because a lot of people are saying Man City. Are there further twists? Because it has been a remarkable week of football.
Brighton have an OK defence. That's what's kind of been their strength throughout the course of the season and served them pretty well, that central defensive partnership. But I do think City are going to destroy them. Wolves have fared well against the top six, so I think there might be more surprises in that game. Although I am more confident for City now. I'm sat next to Sean Goater, looking smart, exuding confidence. I'm blown away, to be honest.
He does look smart, as always. So there are 2 feature games, but we will be across the other 8 games. Dave Jackson, wearing his beloved Arsenal shirt, as always. You are covering 4 of our other games. Just remind us what other games you are covering.
I'm going to be covering Tottenham versus Everton, Man United versus Cardiff, Leicester versus Chelsea, and, of course, Burnley versus the future Europa League champions, Arsenal Football Club.
OK, and whilst you're talking Arsenal, it's worth pointing out, many people are saying it's just the title race that is alive today, but it's not technically true because there is a permutation where Arsenal can pip Tottenham. An 8-goal swing, Tottenham losing and Arsenal winning would see Arsenal get that final Champions League spot. So unlikely, but it's still mathematically possible.
That Everton beat you 8-0 because I'm not that confident about it.
Very honest, I like that. And 4 other games. Will Brazier has been fantastic all season in that armchair role. Fans of the armchair role will be delighted that you are sat right there. You're doing the other 4 games. Just remind us what games you're doing, mate.
Yes, mate. Got Watford versus West Ham, battle for the top half of the table. Southampton versus Huddersfield. Huddersfield could get their joint second worst Premier League total. Fulham versus Newcastle. Will it be goodbye to Rafa? And Crystal Palace, Bournemouth. Huge permutation. Bournemouth could get their highest ever Premier League points total. So it's all happening over here.
He has read the stats pack, haven't you?
Stato.
I feel like you've been shafted, Will, with those fixtures, to be perfectly honest.
Mate, if you read the stat pack like me, I'm absolutely delighted for these.
Good, like it. Positivity. And don't forget, we want you guys to get in touch at home. Send us your questions. Had some brilliant questions over the course of the season, and we will ask them to all of our panel. Very easy to get in touch at SoccerM or at Football Daily. Use the hashtag #TheFootballSocial. We're going to try and have a little Q&A with you at half-time, Sean Goater, as well. So any questions you've got for Sean Goater or any of the panel about today's action, get in touch. Right, let's have an update of all of the fixtures that are taking place. And a reminder that, as always, all will take place at the same time, all 3 o'clock kickoff. Brighton against Man City. As we said, it is in Man City's hands. They win and they will be crowned Premier League champions. First time they will retain the Premier League in their history. Burnley play Arsenal. Arsenal looking for a minor miracle to get that last Champions League spot. Crystal Palace play Bournemouth. Fulham against Newcastle. Leicester against Chelsea. Chelsea already qualified for the Champions League, currently in 3rd, but Tottenham can catch them and finish in 3rd should results go their way. Liverpool will be hoping for Brighton to do them a favour and for them to win against Wolves, who incidentally have the best record against the top 6 for any team outside of the top 6. Man United cannot finish in Champions League spaces. They can still catch Arsenal in 5th, but they will not be playing Champions League football next season. They are at home to Cardiff. Southampton play Huddersfield. Spurs play Everton, and the final match is Watford against West Ham. So let's have a quick reminder of the Premier League table. This is how it currently looks. As we're all aware by now, the 3 teams at the bottom are already relegated. They will be playing Championship football next season. Cardiff, Fulham and Huddersfield. Brighton are, of course, safe. Let's have a look at the top half. There you can see Tottenham currently in 4th, Arsenal in 5th, so that minor miracle needed should Arsenal pick Tottenham. 3rd place is still alive. 125 to 1 you can get on Arsenal finishing 4th, incidentally, through our friends at Sky Bet. Tottenham can still finish 3rd should results go their way. And the big one at the top, 95 points currently for Man City, 94 points for Liverpool, which does mean, Sean, that Liverpool could finish on 97 points. We all know this stat by now because it's doing the rounds, but 97 points with only 1 game lost all season, and it still might not be good enough to lift the Premier League trophy?
I think that's beautiful.
OK.
Listen,
Fair enough.
Love that.
Liverpool's an awesome team. They're brilliant.
Yeah.
You know, they played brilliant throughout the season, and it's still going to go right down to today's game. But, you know, I can't see City slipping up.
You can't?
No, I just can't.
Chris, in terms of the psychology of Liverpool bouncing back and getting over that, that must be so hard to take, given that points tally would have won any Premier League other than this season and last season. It's got to be so tough for those players if they don't win the Premier League trophy with that points.
Yeah, that is hard to take, but I do think they have been the second best team in the Premier League this campaign. I think City are deserving of being champions, particularly when you look at the underlying numbers. And if you look at where Liverpool were last season, fighting for Champions League football on the last day of the campaign, then this season represents a quantum leap forward, doesn't it? And they're taking a lot of momentum into next campaign, especially if they can win the Champions League as well. So it's important that Liverpool fans don't lose that kind of foresight. And really, this season has been an overwhelming success. But I'm excited about one of the boring narratives of, you know, Spurs being perpetual bottlers and Klopp being unable to win finals finally coming to a head in the Champions League.
Yeah, we will. We have to mention an incredible week as well. We'll touch upon the Champions League at due course during the show. But before that, let's have a look at what Jurgen Klopp and Pep Guardiola had to say ahead of a massive day of football today.
We knew it from last season and we know for the future, so it will be an incredible rival. For the good they are, the good he's a manager and they play. So that's why I'm delighted, you know, to be contender against them and being there until the end.
If it's a week of the miracles, I don't know. I cannot decide that. But we have to do the job. I mean, it's in all these things, when people talk about that, it all sounds like it's clear we will beat Wolverhampton. But that's not clear because it's football and everything, really, how we now experience can happen. So, and they are not, it would not be a miracle if Wolves win against Liverpool. They are a really strong side. So that's a job to do. And about the rest, we said it 5 million times, I feel, this season. And that it's not in our hands, so we have to do the job, win the game.
They have to do the job, win the game. He talked about miracle week. It has been an incredible week of football.
It's been great, yeah.
Do you see a miracle? Do you see a twist in this title
I
race,
need
Dave?
a miracle.
I can't, to be honest. I think if they were level on points, it might be a bit different, but well, it doesn't really matter. I think Man City will win this game quite easy. They'll get a nice early goal. That will then relax them. They'll win by at least 2 or 3 goals.
And what was a tough game, Sean, isn't it, as well?
Yeah.
Look, the record they have against the top 6 and the way that they set up
Yeah.
against teams in the top half. They've got nothing to fear today, Wolves.
They got nothing to fear. And the thing is, prior to what happened in the Champions League, I actually felt Wolves would actually perhaps get a draw in this game. But I think the confidence of Liverpool with what they did in Champions League would just allow them to edge this game. But I'm still hopeful that Wolves can cause another one of those great upsets.
OK, the team news is in. Let's have a look at the team news. Starting off at the Amex Stadium, this is the Brighton side. Ryan in goal, Bruno, Dunn, Duffy and Bernardo. Then Anthony Knockaert, K.L. Gross, Basuma, Yakumbash and Glenn Murray up front. So that is the team. Interestingly, 2 changes from the side that drew with Arsenal last week. Kyle and Knockaert come in for Dale Stephens and Solly March. So that's the Brighton team. Let's have a look at Man City's starting lineup. Edison in goal, a back four of... What's that called, Sean?
Hey.
Hey, there you go. Walker at right back.
Hey.
Company.
Hey.
Laporte.
Hey.
Zinchenko.
Hey.
Bernardo Silva.
Hey.
Gundogan.
Hey.
David Silva.
Hey.
Riyad Mahrez. Sergio Aguero. Sterling. Sean is very, very excited. Just to let you know, 1 change to the side that beat Leicester last time out. Riyad Mahrez in for Phil Foden. Kevin De Bruyne also, interestingly, returns to the bench after recovering from a hamstring injury. So Man City fans will be delighted with that news. Sean, you're very, very excited today, but let's just get your reflection on that team news. I always feel like when we see Man City teams, there's just strength everywhere. That even when there are changes, they don't seem to make a massive difference because their squad is so incredible. There's such strength in depth.
So, yes, exactly. But when I look at it, Mahrez, I think the fans are a little bit sort of not feeling, or he's not feeling love from the fans at this moment in time. But I think it's brilliant what Pep's going and done. He's played him in a game where we have to win, and he's just saying you're equally as important in what we're about to do and what we're doing. So he's basically put the arm around him and said, go out there and do what you do. And I think that's absolutely brilliant what he's done as a manager.
Looking at the shots here, Chris, very calm. Pep seems very calm in all of his pre-match talk, and he's looking at the shots there. From where they are now, they were 10 points adrift at one stage. It's been an amazing turnaround, isn't it, for City?
Yeah, that awful run around Christmas. I thought you were going to ask me to comment on his body language then, like I'm some sort of expert.
You can if you want.
No, he does look extremely calm. But
Same cardigan as well. He loves that cardigan, doesn't he?
It's lucky cardigan at this point, yeah.
Pack of 7.
I mean, his teams are always great over the course of a season, aren't they? They're always able to plug gaps, and other players are able to rotate and fill in pretty adeptly where other top teams might struggle. He's a solutionist, isn't he? So,
and he loves that cardigan, Dave, doesn't he?
Yeah, I've just been informed that they're grand. Mental.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, would you wear one of them cardigans?
Not personally, but you know, he does.
Can only wear
suit it,
penguin,
doesn't he?
can't you, mate?
No, other brands are available. We can have a look at the other team news as well. This is, of course, Liverpool playing Wolves. So let's have a look at Liverpool lineup. Alisson in goal, Trent Alexander-Arnold, so many assists, 11 assists in the Premier League this season, 14 in all competitions for Trent Alexander-Arnold, as with Robertson as well, who's got many in the Premier League. I think 11 for Robertson as well. They join Matip and Van Dijk at the back. Interesting midfield three. You've seen so much strength and depth Liverpool have in this area. They go with Jordan Henderson, Fabinho and Georgie Wijnaldum as the midfield three, and then up top Mo Salah, Origi and Sadio Mane. So that is how Liverpool line up. Let's have a look at Wolves' starting lineup. Here it is: Rui Patricio in goal, Bennett, Cody and Bolly, Doherty, Dendoncker, Neves, Moutinho, Johnny with Jimenez and Jota. Chris, I feel like whenever we show Wolves, it's always that 11, isn't it? They've got options off the bench, but they like to play with this starting 11, don't they?
Yeah, that forward two does an awful lot of work in this Wolves side, because it's not the most mobile midfield. Dendoncker is responsible for getting kind of up there and stitching midfield to attack the most, but Moutinho and Neves generally do their business from the base of midfield, and you always see Jota just doing everything, don't you? Whenever you watch it, if it's just Match of Day, just catching extended highlights, every time Wolves put an attack together, it's Jota, pulling out to either flank or, Jimenez holding it up for him down the centre. Them two have been so important for them this season, and that will be an interesting dynamic to watch today. Enjoyable dynamic.
I think with Wolves as well, you look at Ruben Neves, obviously a very technically gifted player. Jimenez has had a brilliant season. I always feel like Jota's the underrated part of that team. He does so much work off the ball. He's very good technically. I think with the FA Cup semi-final as well, they took him off at that when they were, I think it was 2-0 or 2-1, and ended up losing that game. And I thought that was a real turning point in the FA Cup. He's a fantastic player.
I think he's crucial to Wolves as a Vardy is to Leicester, for example. Leicester probably more reliant on Vardy's goals, but I can't imagine Jimenez being anywhere near as involved in play if he didn't have that mobile partner with him.
Yeah, got a great relationship. So interesting, that is 2 changes for Liverpool from the side that beat Barcelona on Tuesday. That's Wijnaldum and Mo Salah replacing James Milner and Xherdan Shaqiri, who dropped to the bench. Of course, worth pointing out that Mo Salah was ruled out through injury with concussion for the Barcelona game. And as expected, as we said, Wolves unchanged, which we've said so many times in this show. Wolves unchanged. He knows his starting 11, so that is the team that will play against Liverpool today. Right, we can have a look now at our group bets, which we've done quite well with, I'd like to say, during the course of the season. We started off quite badly, but we've pulled it back in certain games. So this is what the panel is going for. Sean, Brighton against Man City, probably the quickest answer to a question we've ever asked a guest who will win this. You went straight away win.
Yes.
Man City, very confident. Started chanting the Aguero song as well, and it's all day long for you, that one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's an easy one there, and I think Sergio will step up today because this is what he does: big games, big moments. He delivers. So beautiful sunshine. City fans will see there on the screen. It's going to be a beautiful day.
So beautiful day for Sean. He's gone away win. Hamill's gone draw. Interestingly, Liverpool versus Wolves. I've gone for draw against Everton for Tottenham at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Dave has gone away win, as he has all season. His beloved Arsenal. He hasn't looked at the Arsenal's away form making this prediction because the away form in the Premier League.
Arsenal lose on the Football Social.
Have you not? Okay, fair enough. Burnley v Arsenal.
I'm going to start now, mate. Yeah?
And Leicester. Will's gone for Leicester to beat Chelsea as well. So some interesting predictions there. You can get odds of 112 to 1 through our friends at Sky Bet. Don't forget, you must be 18 plus. Full terms and conditions apply. So we will be bringing you a lot of in-play betting and price boosts throughout the course, courtesy of our mates at Sky Bet. Will, let's get your thoughts on the title race. I haven't had your thoughts on it. It's been an amazing season, hasn't it? How do you see it unfolding?
I really just want some drama because I went to Barcelona in the week, turned my phone off and missed every single bit of drama that was going to happen. So if we could get any today, just some last-minute winners or just some commotion for the content. That's what I'm after.
I was going to say, you're a bit sun-kissed, mate.
Oh, see the back of my neck? Ooh. That's a factor 15. Should have put 50 on.
Is this the best title race we've seen in Premier League history, do you think? In terms
Yes, for me it is. I mean, the consistency of both teams. I think Liverpool has scored something like 8 consecutive games winning. City's had to deliver 12, and I think this will make 13 if I'm right. But it just shows you the consistency of both of these teams being able to win this many games. And as we said earlier, the fact that Liverpool could end on 97 points and potentially not win is staggering. But it's just been phenomenal.
Yeah, a few interesting stats to give you about the title race. First time that two sides have won 90-plus points in a Premier League season. Man City, of course, looking to become the first side to retain the Premier League title since Man United, which was, I believe, 10 years ago. Yeah, between 2007 and 2009. They did win 3 in that period, worth pointing out. Liverpool never won. Obviously, they've won many titles in their career, many Champions League titles, but never won a Premier League title. And these are the scenes that we can give you from Anfield, from the Amex Stadium as well. So we are moments away from kick-off. There is Captain Jordan Henderson and Vincent Kompany. We've got to talk about that goal because I almost feel like, Chris, it's been forgotten about because of the drama that we saw involving Liverpool and then Spurs and of course Arsenal and Chelsea on Thursday night as well. That Vincent Kompany scored an incredible goal, which could be a huge factor in them lifting the title. It seems so long ago now.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a few moments like that over the course of the season, hasn't there? Some sort of last gasp winners. That was the most. Sometimes you just feel like football writes itself, and it was. If there's one man deserving of scoring a goal like that will be remembered as a sort of clincher, then it is Vincent Kompany, because even if his contract is extended, I'm not sure of his current situation. He won't be playing as many games next season, and it looks like City are going to double down on a sort of Fernandinho replacement and a potential centre back as well. Rumours of De Ligt being floated around the papers. So. Yeah, brilliant. I liked his quote afterwards where he said he heard the younger players, tell him not to take the shot on. He said, I haven't come this far in my career to be told what to do by younger players. Respect that. Yeah, what a guy.
What a guy.
Build the statue. Build the statues.
Build the statue, indeed, as Gary Neville said. And these are the scenes. Amex, very hot day on the south coast there. Man City players, the Man City fans lucky enough to be in the stadium, have a ticket for that game, will be hoping that it's in their hands. All they need to do, well, they could lose, they could draw, of course. If Liverpool don't do the job at home, it is in Manchester City's hands as the players at Anfield also come out. The lead changing hands a record 32 times this season, just to illustrate how good both these teams have been. Only one can win the Premier League title, but it's worth pointing out how good this title race has been. It's been 70 days since Man City or Liverpool have dropped points in the title race. That was when Liverpool drew 0-0 at Everton. Man City were 10 points behind Liverpool on December the 29th with a game in hand, and Man City and Liverpool, 10 players named in the PFA Team of the Year. I mean, we could go on and on, Sean, about how good this title race is, but both these teams, it's been an amazing race, and it's going to be really tough for one team who doesn't lift this trophy.
I mean, but both managers, the detail, what they look at in terms of how to get the best out of their teams when they look at opposition, Pep. And how he looks at opposition and finds out where's the weakness, where can they exploit it. And I don't think he's brought Mahrez in as a sentimental reason. I think he thinks he can be a key part of being able to win the game. And I think Klopp's very similar. When I think about Wijnaldum, is brilliant. He's getting some praise now because I actually think he's a brilliant player, attacking player going forward. It's easy saying it now after what we're seeing in Champions League, but he is a quality player and he deserves not only the start, but the plaudits that he's been getting at Liverpool.
Chris, do you agree with those two players? Particularly Mahrez, we mentioned, was some people would say a surprise inclusion given the other options they have. How do you see that?
Yeah, I mean, when Mahrez came out in the press to say he's not played as many games as he'd like, which is, he didn't need to say that. It is pretty obvious, wasn't it, the limited amount of minutes he's got in 2019. I thought that was a death knell for him. Not many people get away with saying that around Pep Guardiola. But, his inclusion might mean that Pep sees more of a long-term future for him as opposed to someone like Sane. I'm not sure. There's a couple of players there. City have a bit more of a predicament, don't they, in that there's a couple of players that will want more minutes, whereas at Liverpool, the players that have been rotated in, like Shaqiri, like Divock Origi, would have expected to have had a more limited amount, or coming off the bench, for example. But Wijnaldum, I think he's been brilliant. My sort of echo Sean's sentiments, and glad he's finished the season strong.
Yeah, what a game he had midweek. Eighth time the Premier League title will be decided on the final day. This is the first time in 5 years, so we're lucky to be witnessing it going to the last day, because particularly last season it was wrapped up so early. Man City, of course, still looking to become the first team ever to win a domestic treble in English football, because they do play Watford in the FA Cup final, and we'll be doing a football social for that as well next week. So, yeah, two big games as our feature games. But Dave, you're covering the other four, so what scenes are you looking at? We're just looking at Spurs.
I'm looking at Lucas Moura praying to the heavens that his team don't get smashed 8-0, which I'm hoping they will. What we got, the Leicester-Chelsea game that's just about to kick off. They're a little bit ahead of the rest of them, even though they're all going to kick off at 3 o'clock. So, Vardy's on the screens now. A lot of changes for Arsenal.
Chelsea,
a lot of changes for Arsenal. I'm more concerned about. You've got El Neni playing now. I actually hope it's the last game he plays for Arsenal, to be honest. Yeah, big time. But I can also understand trying to rest some players because obviously we've got big cup finals to come. But the United and Spurs game has kicked off.
Yeah, OK, and also let's just touch upon the Leicester-Chelsea game as well, because that's a tough fixture for Chelsea. They'd be relieved that they are safe with Champions League qualification, because Leicester away.
Yeah, the rest of it. I don't think they mind. I think as long they've guaranteed Champions League football now. And they could probably start to think about next Wednesday night in Europa League final. Yeah,
just keeps a little bit of team news with that. Leicester manager Brendan Rodgers names an unchanged side from the one that was beaten at Man City on Monday. Chelsea 5 changes, as Dave alluded to there, from the side that won against Watford in the Premier League outing. Most notably Hazard and Kepa dropped to the bench. We've got a goal, Will Brazier?
It's been ruled out for offside. Delafeu passed it.
Go on, give us a quick update.
Delafeu smashed it in, but he was offside by miles.
OK, so Chelsea making 5 changes to the side. Caballero, Ross Barkley, Zappacosta, Willian and Ruben Loftus-Cheek all start. Hazard and Kepa drop to the bench. Man United v Cardiff. Man United 5 changes from the side that drew at Huddersfield. Juan Mata drops to the bench, while Sanchez, Lindelof, Shaw and Matic miss out entirely, relegated Cardiff. 2 changes from the defeat to Palace. Sahora and Bakuna both in the starting 11. Changes for Arsenal as well, but I think Arsenal and Chelsea both looking at the cup final that they've got, the Europa League cup final in Baku as well. 9 changes for them. Monreal and Aubameyang are the only ones to keep their place. Lacazette is on the bench, as is the retiring Petr Cech. His last game as a professional footballer will be against Chelsea, his former club, in the Europa League final. What a story that will be. Spurs 5 changes from their epic win in Amsterdam midweek. Trippier, Vertonghen, Rose, Wanyama and Heung-min Son all drop out to be replaced in the starting lineup by Walker-Peters, Dyer, Davis, Lamela and Llorente. Worth pointing out, Heung-min Son is suspended for that game following his red card, as is 1-4. Spurs down to 9 men against Bournemouth, of course. Everton 3 changes with Yerry Mina, Theo Walker and Cenk Tosun all making starts. Right, all of our games are underway. We've got to start with the Man City-Brighton game. Sean, you're very confident now. You seem a bit more quieter. Is this just because you're focused?
I'm focused, but interesting because Bruno I think it'll be his last game for Brighton as right back.
Correct.
And he's actually coming up against Mahrez. So Mahrez hasn't been in the team, but it's been included. So I think it's going to be interesting because Mahrez will want to perform well and play an important part in today's game. And Bruno will want to end his career at Brighton in the right way, and that's with a great performance. So it's going to be interesting to watch that as how that unfolds.
Riyad Mahrez, spoken about him there. We've spoken about the quotes that he's come out with as well. Not happy with the game time. Starts today. They're in a very important game. Do you expect him to be wearing a Manchester City shirt next season?
Yes, I do. I think, we look at this season and we think, yes, he wants more time, but just because you want more time doesn't mean that you get more time. At the end of the day, it's been a really successful season for City, barring winning this game, going and winning this game and as well the FA. So he'll look back.
First goal of the game. Who is it to? Dave Jackson.
It's Tottenham Hotspur's ball played in from a corner. I believe it was Eric Dyer who's just whacked the ball into the back of the net. They actually started quite well, to be fair. They were starting to press the ball quite well. Yes, 1-0 to Tottenham.
So the only actual permutation that we had over in Permutation Station is actually...
Here we go. There's the replay, Dave. It's a corner whipped in. It's sort of not cleared by Everton. Everton will be... Because it's not the first touch, is it?
No, it's extremely poor defending.
Bobbling around.
Eric Dyer has reacted first and put the ball in the back of the net.
He's got a similar one like that against Arsenal, didn't he? Where the ball was sort of bobbling around in the penalty area and he just sort of slotted it home. Everton will be disappointed they haven't cleared that. It is the first goal of the game. It's Tottenham 1, Everton 0. Don't forget Spurs as well can still finish third. Only a point behind Chelsea going into today. Chelsea, it's in their hands to finish third. Of course, third and fourth still is entry into the group stage of the Champions League, so it doesn't make any difference in terms of qualification. But of course, for pride at stake, Spurs will want to finish above Chelsea. So that is the first goal of the game. Will, how are your 4 games starting? There's a bit of an injury in one of your games. Looks quite nasty, that.
Arnautovic's gone down here. I think it's a little shoulder injury, but Watford started really brightly. I thought West Ham would be on top because obviously Watford got the cup final next week, but not really had anything to shout about so far, West Ham or Watford.
OK. Arsenal, how they started, Dave?
Not particularly well, but then neither's Burnley. It's very, very early like doors there. But it's nice to see Aubameyang on the pitch because obviously he can still get like the golden boot. He's only 2 behind Salah, so hopefully he can get another couple.
Greenwood starting for United as well. That's a nice little touch.
That's a nice touch.
Lovely touch.
It's a lovely touch.
And
for a
Herrera not
lovely
even in the
season.
squad.
Huh?
And Herrera not even in the squad.
Is
But
he
he got
not?
his own Twitter tribute video, so I'm sure he'll be fine.
Dave mentioned the race to the Golden Boot. Of course, the Golden Boot, Golden Glove still going on today. 22 for Mo Salah currently. 20 goals for Sergio Aguero, Aubameyang and Sadio Mane. 18 for Jamie Vardy, 17 for Kane, Sterling, 16 for Hazard. So it's very, very tight. Usually at this stage, there's usually a stand-out winner, but Mo Salah with 22.
Isn't it mad that we've...
Is the
How many
favourite to
questions have
win
we
it.
had on this sofa about Mo Salah having an off-peak season
good
and
point.
he's just about to win the Golden Boot in the Premier League?
Yeah.
Stick your questions there.
And also, look at the fact that Sadio Mane's on 20 as well. Mo Salah's on 22. So for 2 players to be over 20 goals in a Premier League season is very rare. On the subject of that as well, Ederson and Alisson, Man City and Liverpool keepers respectively, of course, vying for the Golden Glove. They've both kept 20 clean sheets. That is an incredible number for one season as well. Both kept 20 clean sheets in the Premier League this season. So the award could be shared for only the 2nd time ever, should they both keep clean sheets today. So that's the race for the Golden Glove and the Golden Boot as well. Will, a bit of a gasp from you?
I was just trying to wind Sean up in the Brighton game.
I'm trying to let him know. Just stay calm, stay relaxed.
Go on, what happened, Sean?
Yeah, well, there was an in-swing across from the right-hand side from Brighton, and it narrowly went across the far post. So I did take a deep breath, but in the end, it was...
Was it worried?
It was a little bit, but it managed to go wide. So City in possession now and slowly moving the ball around.
Sean, in your sort of experience in big matches and when there's other games at stake and obviously as a City fan as well, seeing them be involved in title races that have gone to the last day, including the famous Aguero one, which I'm sure you were watching and excited about. Will the players from both Liverpool and Man City be constantly wanting to know what's going on in the other one, do you think? Or is it a case of just focus on the job in hand?
Well, they don't want to know. I think they're just focusing on the game. And I think Pep has actually come out and said, listen to his staff, I don't want to know anything about Liverpool's game results. There's no checking from the staff. And he can't control the staff, but he can't control the fans. Because if the results start to go...
The fans will be, won't they?
The fans will be straight away going, brilliant, God, or whatever,
Liverpool.
in response to it. So
chance for Liverpool, Hamill?
Yeah, some brilliant build-up play by Divock Origi. Salah's just flicked it to Henderson. Henderson's normally very good at delivering crosses from that position, but not so much there, and Matt Doherty clears.
How have Liverpool started in this game?
Yes, a little bit attritional. Jota's got away down the left-hand side a couple of times, but, Fabinho's mopped up pretty well, as he has been doing all season. Wolves largely spent it penned in their third, but Raul Jimenez, useful focal point for the counter-attack, isn't he? So Van Dijk's keeping one eye on him, but, just nice and concise at the minute, just...
And Wolves won't mind this as
passing it
well,
round.
will they? Because we've done so many possession stats. When they have beaten the top 6, they very rarely they seem to always have lower possession than the teams in the top 6. That's how they play counter-attacking football. So this won't be anything new to Wolves, will it, at all?
No, and, I mean, Jurgen Klopp will be aware of the impact of, good athletic fullbacks, attacking fullbacks in the Premier League, having utilised his two, the best out of any manager, and that certainly is the case with Johnny, Otto, and Doherty, isn't it? So they'll have a game plan for those guys, which is how they've kind of got at the rest of the top 6, isn't it?
Yeah, so 7 minutes gone in all of our games, all the games kicking off at 3 o'clock. Only one goal of the day so far. Eric Dyer for Tottenham, making it Tottenham 1, Everton 0. Dave Jackson, the dream was alive for you, wasn't it?
No, it still is.
3 minutes gone. Still alive, is it?
Still alive. Arsenal playing particularly well, actually. Aubameyang's hit the post and he's had a shot saved very well from Tom Heaton. So, the dreams are still on, mate.
I think we can track the progress of Spurs by Smithy.
Oh, what a goal!
Will Brazier, who's it gone to?
Newcastle have scored at Fulham in the game that nobody cares
John
about,
Joe.
apart from Rafa Benitez. John Joe Selvy's put a late contender for goal of the season. Corner comes out, he's on the edge of the area, controls it with one, smashes it in with the other, and he's giving a little tribute to someone there, not been playing as many minutes as he won. Bang, touch.
Oh,
That's
what a finish.
Take that, put that in the goal. That's why you should never do awards before the end of the season, because you can see some of these are beauties.
Attack us.
Look at that.
Sean Goat's a lovely... That was the one you've been proud of, wouldn't you? The Goat would have been proud of that.
And something you can actually recognise. He doesn't hit it really hard. He controls his strike. Because he could hit it harder, but he knows if he hits it harder, it actually go over. So he controls the power. and keeper has no chance. Brilliant finish.
Could be his last game at Newcastle as well.
Well, I was going to say probably one man that would want Rafa to go, maybe.
Reports are led to be believed.
Fantastic
I was going to say, we
goal.
can track the progress of Spurs as a club by the answer to the answer to this question from Smithy.
Go on.
Was the part of you today that thought we could lose 4-0 to Everton and Arsenal could win 4-0? Because that is such a typical Spurs fan attitude, isn't it?
Well, it's interesting, actually, because someone sent me a screen grab of the last day of the season when Arsenal pipped us, and I believe we lost 5-1 to Newcastle, and Arsenal beat Villa 4-0, I think, and there was... not that the swing counted then, but you did have to... And that was obviously more than what was a 8-goal swing.
Newcastle were down as well, weren't they?
And Newcastle were already relegated and had 10 men, so anything is possible. Yeah. Wijnaldum scored 4, I believe, if memory serves me right on that
Pretty
day.
happy with that goal then, yeah?
On a serious note, I thought it would be a minor miracle were Arsenal to turn that 8-goal swing. But as we've said, the week that we've seen in football, I almost think that until it's mathematically done, you've had so many people celebrating that Spurs are out of the Champions League, celebrating Liverpool are out of the Champions League from rival fans before the games are finished, that I just think don't rule anything out on this final day, because the week that we've seen has just been incredible. But I do think it would take a real freak incident for that 8-goal swing to happen.
Go on, finish.
Over to you, Dave.
Go on.
We'll go Dave Jackson quickly. Dave, tell me what happened in your game.
Half a chance for Arsenal. I believe it's Joe Willock, but I believe it's now a corner to Arsenal.
Chance for Spurs.
It's offside.
Another chance for Spurs.
Goal!
And there's another goal. It's all go. Big chance for Spurs. Saved by Pickford. It's still 1-0. There's been another goal in one of Will Brazier's games. What happened, Will?
2-0 Newcastle. Terrible mistake from the Fulham keeper, Rico. That's probably why they're going back down to the Championship after spending £100 million. He's palmed it back in. I don't know who that is. I think...
Awful.
Perez following up there.
Perez,
2-0 to them.
Dreadful start for Fulham.
Well, it's been good because Scotty Parker took over and he's had a bit of a renaissance, and you thought we'd use this as a catalyst going into the next season, but Rafa Benitez working his magic with a limited squad, limited budget, and the fans are in fancy dress. There's 3 Teletubbies on my screen. Tinky Winky's already taken his hat off. Poor effort by him. But fantastic scenes down by the River Thames.
I believe that was Poe, Lala and Tinky Winky. Yet to see shots of Dipsy. Dipsy, if you are there, get in contact. Where are you?
Over to Dipsy line up.
Get involved. Let us know what's happening. Of course. Sean Goetze, you've been very quiet since the start of the game.
Yes.
How has this game started from Man City's perspective?
In truthfulness, I think Brighton's really just held their own. City's had possession, but no real good opportunities, and that's Brighton's really defended well. And when they've had possession, they've kept good possession. They just haven't themselves been able to, other than that earlier low opportunity with the cross, haven't really been able to get in there. But again, in terms of, it's been a match 50-50 in the actual middle section of the field.
Yeah. So, quiet
just
far.
Watching the Manchester United Cardiff game, it's been all Cardiff, to be honest.
Has it?
Yeah. They've had a few chances. But,
I'd love Cardiff to be.
Actually, a corner to United.
Cross from Sterling there, just over Sergio's head. Not a little lower than Sergio would put that in, but this is a little bit better by City.
Better from City. Just as you said, it's a bit better from City. It's a terrible pass that goes straight out for a goal kick.
Yes, and Sterling's David Silva's not like him.
No,
that's the one bad pass you'll get from him in that game.
Sean, just touch on that Aguero chance. We missed that. Just explain. Was that a chance he should have scored, or he did well to get his on the end?
Well, I think it was a bit too much on it. Sterling's crossing on the right hand side, and Sergio's had to back onto it. He's had to go back to try to keep over it, but it comes over top of his head. It was just a bit too much on the cross. Slightly lower than Sergio, I think, would have hit the target with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Smith, come on, let's get... Because I want to know, because I've missed the football from the week. How was it in Amsterdam?
Yeah, it was. I was in Amsterdam, in the ground, in the Johan Cruyff Arena for that game, and it was the best match of football I will ever... I'm going to put it out there, probably ever go to.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't think I'll ever top that in terms of the half-time, 2-0 down, 3-0 on aggregate. With Harry Kane obviously not even squad listed, you just think we need a miracle to score 3. And the word I'd use to describe it was disbelief when that goal went in. It was just so unlike Spurs against a very good Ajax team as well that played much better than we had in the first half. And it just... The funny thing with Tottenham this season is that our form in the Premier League has been so inconsistent. We've lost 13 games, a third of our matches we've lost. But in the Champions League, there's something really strange going on. We've been out of the competition on nearly 4 occasions, really. Yeah. The group stage, twice we nearly went out. We had to rely on PSV to draw to Inter, which no one...
Are you trying to create the illusion that there's just something in the water this year,
then,
mate?
Then the 2 VAR decisions with Man City and the 96th minute winner. There's a lot that has gone sort of Spurs' way in the Champions League. But
shed a tear?
You know, but yeah, it was an emotional night. But I do look at the Liverpool team and think, fantastic side. There's still a big job to do. But we shall see.
What do you make of Poch's remarks? Not to take the sting out of it, but Poch's remarks that if he won the Champions League, that'd be it. He'd just walk off into the sunset.
What he actually said was, I think he'd need to go home, which didn't really say that he was going to leave. I think that's been misinterpreted.
He said he was confirmed retiring.
In my opinion,
sunset.
I wouldn't read too much into that. Yeah.
I had sunset.
Well, we've got sunset in England today, haven't we?
Yeah, listen, the weather's beautiful and it's great.
Here.
We're just not getting the football we've come to expect with City, and that's down to Brighton, really. Brighton, when they're in possession, they're keeping it themselves, a good 12, 15 passes, and making City really work at this moment in time.
Liverpool, Chris, every time I look to that screen, it is all Liverpool in possession. Have there any big chances so far?
Not a lot of meaningful possession. A lot of okay. Go on, Braz.
Go on over to Will. Goal in the Watford versus West Ham game. I think it's Mark Noble, Will Brazier.
It's an absolute mazy run from Mark Noble. The last day of the season is known for being silly season, and Mark Noble's driven past 3 players and then curved one past the keeper with his left foot. I've never seen anything like it from I was going to say young man. He's getting on to his 30s now. But
here we go. This is the replay.
Yep. Where is he? Where are we? Top left. There he is. Picks up the ball.
There's a lot of games to be across.
1-2. Takes out 2. Oh, see you later.
Oh, see you later. See you later.
And he just caresses it. It sort of goes in slow motion into the back of the net, doesn't it?
Where's the second and third people who dribbled it round? You've massively oversold that.
I'm here for the content, Chris.
Love that. Well, so it is Watford 0, West Ham 1. Will, obviously, Watford, fantastic achievement for them, getting to an FA Cup final, which is not long away, a week away, of course. Yeah. Do you see that from this Watford starting line? Have they got their foot off the gas a little bit because they're thinking of that?
No, well, first 10 minutes was all Watford, but I think it's the manager's giving the team to and that's slowly wearing off, and West Ham are gaining a foothold in the game, and I don't see them getting back into that, but I hope they do, because I just want lots of goals.
You just want lots of goals?
Lots and lots of goals.
There we go. Brighton versus Man City, of course, Brighton with that win in 8 Premier League games, fewest shots on target in the Premier League this season, and conceded the most penalties in the Premier League this season. But they did get that 1-1 draw, of course, with Arsenal last weekend. From a Brighton perspective, are they anything of hope for them, or has it been all City, Sean?
Well, I think it is hope, because at the end of the day, it's still 0-0. Right now, if I could paint the picture, decent cross there. But right now, Brighton's got every last one of their players all inside the final third.
Yeah.
They got like a back 6, which is only 5 yards deeper than the 18-yard line, and the other players are literally another 7 yards in front of them.
Yeah.
And City are trying to find holes and gaps, and this is why it's so difficult. And from Brighton's point of view, this is what you would expect from them.
I was at the Spurs-Brighton game, the midweek game. It's exactly how Brighton set up. I have to say, Duncan Duffy were fantastic.
Yes,
unbelievable that day. In terms of a partnership, cleared absolutely everything. But it was all Spurs, all the possession, all the chances. But it got to the 60th minute, and a lot of the Spurs fans thought that we're not going to break them down here.
Yeah.
The only way we were going to score, I thought, was through a long-distance strike, which turned out to be... Liverpool take the lead! Moment in the title race. Liverpool 1, Wolves 0. Liverpool currently top of the league. Chris Hamill, talk us through this goal.
OK, we've got some temporary jitters from Gota out here. So it's spread down the right-hand side. Trent Alexander-Arnold again. What a beautiful first touch that is. Jordan Henderson with the return ball. Ooh. And Trent Alexander-Arnold is 15th assist in all competitions. And he just can't be stopped. The delivery on the boy is absolutely unreal.
It's a great pass from Trent Alexander-Arnold. Takes a tiny deflection, but then it is there to Sadio Mane, who tucks it away. So as things stand, Sean Gota, it is Liverpool 1, Wolves 0. Still a long way to play, but it is Brighton 0, Man City 0. As things stand, if it ends like this, Liverpool will be crowned Premier League champions. Thoughts?
Well, I need to go to Pep right now. Sort it out. Get it sorted. Pep, get it sorted. Right now...
Goal for Matt! No, I'm joking.
Right now, I know the fans must be reacting. Players must be hearing some of this. We normally don't hear it, but we need them to hear it. As we got the ball on the edge of the box, and we need this goal to come in the next 10 minutes just to ease the nerves.
Yeah, Sadio Mane scored 11 goals in his last 15 appearances for Liverpool, having his best ever scoring season in English football, 24 goals. Could be a battle between the two Liverpool players for the Golden Boot, of course. Mo Salah and Sadio Mane. As things stand, Sadio Mane, Liverpool will be lifting the Premier League trophy. We've got drama.
Sadio Mane then. They've not actually tried to get in really down Robertson's wing, which is unusual. Oh, attacking here. Wolves winning a corner. They've persisted with the right-hand side where Otto is. Trent Alexander-Arnold's got in yet again. And
Jesus.
Sadio Mane taking up positions in the 6-yard box, which we didn't necessarily see as much of last season. He's become much more kind of a poacher in that regard, hasn't he? Arriving late at the back post or in the middle, and that was the case there.
And we're looking at scenes, Sean Goater, at the Amex that Man City fans do not tell me they don't know this, because they do know. They're listening.
They know.
To
I've just told them. They need to tell Pep. They tell the players.
It's gone quite in the away end, hasn't it? They're aware that Liverpool have scored.
Yeah, so well aware. And, you know, some of the old City fans will be thinking, no, typical City. But it's young fans, and all they know is winning. So it's the young fans we need to be taking over that. We need young fans who just think, relax, you know? Yeah. It's going to be okay.
Because if you're a young City fan, you've only seen success and this Man City win trophies. But the older generation, shall we say, of City fans, well, no, you played for Man City through many leagues, through relegations, promotions. They've seen it all.
They've seen it all. And those are the fans that they come up to us and say they're really nervous. When I've spoken to them, they went, "Oh, I'm really nervous about today." But then you speak to a younger fan, and what you think, son? Oh, we're going to easily win this. So I've taken the side of the young fan. We're going to cover today.
OK, let's have a look at the table as it stands. So just a reminder that there it is. Liverpool will be crowned Premier League winners if it stays as it is. We are 19 minutes gone in both games. Man City second, Liverpool top. Of course, a lot of football still to play.
31 times now, isn't it? It's changed hands.
Yeah, it's changed hands record time this season. It just goes to show this Liverpool team just absolutely incredible, as is Man City. Dave, let's go to some of your games. We haven't spoken about Leicester-Chelsea at all yet. That is quite a big game because third place is up for grabs. What can you tell us about that one?
Leicester have definitely been the better team. They're playing so relaxed, really. They've got such a freedom that I haven't seen in a Leicester team. Well, obviously since they were crowned champions. I think Brendan's got them playing some really, really good football here. Chelsea not quite the races, but they haven't really got anything to play for, really, have they? So that's to be expected. Burnley coming more into the game against Arsenal, and the Cardiff United game. United probably just about the better team.
Cardiff got a penalty.
Pretty evens, and it's a penalty to Cardiff.
Oh, big moment from Man United.
Come on, the diff.
At Old Trafford.
Yes,
big moment. Talk us through what happened in a game that Man United had been on a bad run of form, and surely they want to leave with some pride in their last home game of the season.
Yeah, they would.
Is it a penalty for you? This?
Let's have a look. The replay's just on screen now. That is not a penalty.
No,
it's Nathaniel Mendes-Lang, I believe, going down the left side. Not a pen for you?
No. It was like a challenge in from the United player who kind of hasn't really hit the ball, but he hasn't made any contact. He hasn't made contact with the Cardiff player either.
It was like that one in see the Leeds Derby game yesterday that got reversed by the lino.
And it's in the Burnley-Arsenal game. Referee, what's happened here? There's a bit of a scuffle between
a Burnley player, right?
Chris Wood, is it?
I haven't seen him.
You haven't even seen it, Dave.
Come on, Dave.
Hello, Jota.
And Wolves on the attack as well. Come to Chris in a minute.
Ashley Barnes.
It is all going on, so a bit of a scuffle there.
Leno nasty. That's a red, mate.
Leno runs in to
and it's Lichtensteiner. Lichtensteiner's gave him a push.
Penalty to Cardiff, Dave.
Go! Get in! I love it when Man United drop points. I absolutely love it. Goal for Cardiff. Mendes-Lang is the man that I called quite a fat fella a couple of episodes ago. He's just scored and put Cardiff 1-0 up.
That's for Neil Warnock. That's for all those times we thought they were staying up, Smithy.
Yes, you did. You called it, and it was wrong, but it was a good call in a sense because they did better than any of us could have imagined, Cardiff. And they are 1-0 up at Old Trafford. Nathaniel Mendes-Lang won the penalty and he tucks it away.
Yeah.
David De Gea dives to his right, the penalty goes to his left, he opens his body up, places it in the corner. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I've got to quickly talk about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Unbelievable start, record amount of wins as a start as a Premier League manager for Man United. But since then, have the wheels come off a bit, following on from the famous Ollies at the wheel chart? What have you made of what's happening at Man United?
When he come in, and I thought, it's brilliant what he's done. It's been a breath of fresh air, put arm around players and tell them go and express themselves. Well, I think he needs to repeat that somehow, some way. But I think, sadly, he may have to move Pogba on. Because I think his character... See, when he plays for France, he knows his lane, and he stays in his lane. But with Man United, he thinks he's the main guy, so therefore he steps outside of his lane.
Yeah, it's like in the 800 metres, you've got to stay in your lane, haven't you? But when you do 1500, you can move into any lane. And it's when you move into the lane.
There you go.
Couldn't
have said it better myself.
Yeah, there you go, yeah.
Well, I was actually Year 7 District 800 metres champion in Brighton.
Statue!
Look at the stuff.
Goal for Palace!
Goal for Palace! It is goals galore on the Football Social. Who has scored? Why? How? And when?
For Everton?
Will.
How's he giving
Batshuayi was talking too much about my 800 metres, but I think it's Batshuayi, only one of maybe his last game for Palace, because Chelsea need some strikers, need some transfers, so they'll be recalling on their own. But yeah, he scored in front of Selhurst Park, and he looks very happy.
So it's Crystal Palace 1, Bournemouth 0. Big chance for Everton. What happened in that, Dave Jackson?
Absolutely pathetic defending from the Spurs player. He's gone down like a sack of spuds. He hasn't really been touched, but the referee has bought it, and the Spurs have got away with one there.
Just a quick reminder, if the things stay like this, who finishes higher, Tottenham or Arsenal, Dave?
Tottenham Hotspurs.
And which team in the Champions League final, Dave?
Tottenham Hotspurs.
Thank you very much, Dave.
You're very welcome.
Quick stats that Sean Goetz will be delighted to hear. Brighton have played more top-flight matches against reigning champions without winning than any other team in top-flight history. Played 11, drawn 2, lost 9, 1-0. It's a stat that will be music to your ears, the Goats.
Yes, I'm needing those sort of stats to cheer me up right now, because at this moment in time, Brighton's really doing well, because they're really... all they're doing defensively is working hard, keeping a good shape, and because it's a warm day, the grass is probably a little sticky, so the ball's not able to zip around as much as City would like. And City at this moment in time are not finding those cute little holes. And that's down to Brighton. Brighton are doing exceptionally well.
And look at the body language of the City fans. It looks like we're in the 89th minute.
Yeah, my body language has changed. It's about being really relaxed.
Chris, what's the chance in the Liverpool game? What happened?
There was an absolute Lord of the Pings from Robertson down the left-hand side. It ended up being straight at the keeper, Rui Patricio, palmed it out quite well. But Wolves are starting to find a couple of openings. Oh dear! Why the Liverpool fans celebrating? I hope they're not ahead of us in any way, shape, or form, or they've just seen the camera and they're going mad. Let's go with that for the time being. But no, it's far from over, this game. You know, Wolves almost saying that. No, good clearance there from Conor Cody. No, it's actually Ryan Bennett on Mo Salah, and it's getting a little bit scrappy. But Wolves are clawing their way back into it. Let's say.
Okay. Thrown for Brighton, half chance. It's cleared by Man City, and it's gone behind for a corner. Interesting. Don't know if Edison should have picked that up, but it's gone behind for a corner, and it's a chance for Brighton.
I would say something very strange. Sometimes when a team like City is not playing great, to actually concede will be a good thing.
What, to G them up?
Yeah, because then they'll really sort of get themselves going.
We saw this sort of atmosphere, didn't we, against Leicester after about 7 minutes. The Manchester City fans really wasn't conducive to, getting the 3 points. There is a nervousness in the City fans, isn't there? That's quite tangible at the end of this campaign. And I bet that doesn't help. Oh, God!
Yes.
It's a goal! Oh my God! An absolutely massive moment in the title race. It is Brighton 1. And Liverpool are beating Wolves 1 as things stands. Liverpool will be crowned Premier League titles. We're looking at Man City fans, head in their hands. They are devastated. Are we witnessing history? Is this the time Liverpool will be crowned Premier League winners for the first time? It's a Glenn Murray header scoring his... He's scored goals galore this season, 13 for him in all competitions. Brighton's top goal scorer.
You know, I said
Sean
it, right?
Goetz.
I said it.
Let's get your reaction.
I said it, but I didn't actually want that to be the case. But this actually may be, I mean, it's a great ball. It's coming flat. Alisson comes for it. He just can't get there. It's really a good delivery.
And it's a header from the near corner.
Near post.
Zinchenko's not attacking it, is he?
And listen, it's a great set piece by Brighton. The jumper's come
The jumper, the cardigan that has done Pep so well all season has been thrown to the floor. Man City fans, heads in their hands. And it's also worth pointing out the corner was a very odd corner that Man City should not have conceded. Edison sort of parried it when he could have caught it. So it's a bad corner for them team. Glenn Murray, instantly, last season, Glenn Murray scored 12 in the Premier League, 2 in the FA Cup, 14 in all competitions. Glenn...
Go on!
Straight
That's
away.
what I'm talking about, baby. Is we needed that girl. We need that girl again.
Sean Goetz, in case we haven't figured out who has scored.
Sergio.
It's a big moment. We're just looking at scenes at Anfield. Liverpool fans. There's a Liverpool fan with a Brighton shirt on at Anfield. They are going crazy just hearing news of the Brighton goal. Within a minute later,
onside.
Man City have equalised, and Man City, the away end, has erupted at the Amex. It's a lovely pass forward. David Silva with a little Cruyff turn flick.
David Silva, what a flick.
And Sergio, left foot drive.
That's Aguero's 21st goal as well, isn't it? So he's 1 behind Mo Salah.
Watch out, Mo Salah.
Wow.
I'm taking the Premier
Golden boot
from
and a league title if he gets
Yes.
one. So
And Sean, look at what we're seeing at Anfield. Liverpool fans, they're not watching the game.
They're listening
watching
to
their
us.
phones.
They're listening to us.
They are. They are listening to us. If you're watching, thank you for joining us. Keep
Yes.
watching. And look at these fans. They're on the phone. They're just jubilant scenes we saw only 2 minutes ago with the first goal going in. Only moments later, Man City the back of the net, and they look devastated.
Well, yes, Liverpool fans were absolutely jumping because they realised Brighton had scored. A few minutes later, they realised City scored. They're on the phones, they're like this, listening to 2
Another
minutes.
chance for City. Behind
they got a
corner.
taste for it, didn't they?
They got a
Temporarily, they got a taste for it. Sure.
Interesting, we're
Calm
talking about Glenn
down.
Murray. Glenn Murray, I'll get this in. 14 goals last season, 12 from the Premier League, 2 in the FA Cup. Glenn Murray this season now 14 in all competitions, 12 from the Premier League, 2 in the FA Cup. Absolutely mirrored his form from last season. It was a good header, but Sergio Aguero's stats massively eclipsed that because he has now scored.
Oh God!
21,
what are
I
you
believe,
doing?
goals.
Communication there.
And it's a corner for Man City, so unbelievable finish. Lovely bit of skill.
Oh, Smithy Wolves have got in behind.
Go on, Chris.
Chris has taken it from maybe Otto down the left-hand side. Look at that.
Pivotal moment in the game there. Lack of communication, both Spanish as well. So what's going on?
Yeah, Sergio Aguero, that is his
Or is
21st
he-
goal in
is
the
he
Premier League.
Portuguese?
There's a lot going on. 83 seconds between the two goals.
Here we go.
Shots. Oh! Sean Gota.
Wow, it's an
Describe
overlap.
what we've just seen there.
Wow, it's an overlap by Sachenko. He digs out across because the pressure's on it. And he finds far post with Bernardo Silva. And it's brilliant because he heads down what you should do. And, well, it's just right at the keeper. He doesn't have a great deal to aim at because it's far post, beyond the far post. But great header and decent goalkeeping.
You were right, weren't you, Sean? It G'd him up straight away, 83 seconds.
Yeah, sometimes you need that. But in such an important game, you need to go behind.
Yeah.
And then this has now gotten City back into this game.
Sean said
proper.
that. You did say a goal behind might spark him into life. It's certainly given the fans some an added lift, doesn't it? I mean, worth pointing out that as things stand, Liverpool will still lift the Premier League title because they are winning and Man City are drawing. So it's still a good situation for Liverpool, but obviously there's a lot of football to play and Man City seems to be finding that extra gear now.
Yes, and City now have moved up their gear because they realise, like, OK, we need to be on our game because Brighton are here to win this game, without a shadow of a doubt.
Just trying to wait for a quiet moment to go to Dave for the other 4 games. It never seems to be ones. The corner's whipped in, it's cleared by Brighton. Dave, let's go to your games. Big chance for Burnley. What happened?
The ball was kind of played in. The ball was going about in the areas. A few shots went off. Good initial save from Bernard Leno. And then one of the best defensive saves you'll ever see from the great man, Mr. Mustafi. All right, again, hopefully it's the last game he ever plays for us. But absolute tremendous defensive block there. So well done, Mustafi.
And what's happening now? Is a bit of an incident in at Surf Moor.
Arsenal played down. I think it might actually be Mustafi from the block. So not looking good for him. Hopefully we get someone. But yeah, and in the Everton-Spurs game, Everton are actually playing particularly well at the moment. But Spurs are looking very dangerous every time they go forward. Leicester definitely a better team, and the Chelsea
still 0-0 in that one.
Yeah, still 0-0. And United Cardiff, it's probably about even. Even though Cardiff are winning, Man United are starting to come into it. So some great games, even though there's been not a lot of goals.
Let's just talk about Man United quickly because we know that they can't finish in Champions League spots. It's been a disappointing season for them. Worth pointing out, they did have the managerial change, so I think a lot of fans certainly saw this as a transitional season rather than, a miraculous one.
Yeah,
but
I think
they will not want to lose their last home game of the season.
Goal for Crystal Palace.
Go on, Will. So straight to you.
Batshuayi, I think he's got a second one of the day. His first one, I just saw again, was a neat little tuck in. We've got the replay round here now. Ball's in the centre, worked out from the right. Yet again, Wan-Bissaka with the cross, and it's the easy of tap-ins for Batshuayi. So 2-1, maybe his final appearance for Crystal Palace.
Batshuayi, where's he going to be playing next season, do you think?
Chelsea.
Yeah.
Chelsea, back at Chelsea. Dave, going back to you, the Man United game, as we were saying, they can't finish Champions League, as we said, but losing at home to a relegated Cardiff team will be a terrible end to the season.
I think the thing is, if you also, this is your chance to get back into manager's plans for next season. He's clearly going to have a bit of clear out at Man United.
Yeah.
So this is an opportunity to, again, playing at Old Trafford, show the manager that you want to be there next season, and they're not playing particularly well whatsoever. They don't have the same drive, the same tempo, and they've got nothing to play. It's a very, very strange performance from Man United, to be honest.
Very strange. Liverpool, Wolves, Hamill. We saw some shots of the fans there realising what's happening at the Amex Stadium. How Liverpool played. Did they look like scoring a second, or Wolves getting back into it?
Hasn't affected the Liverpool performance whatsoever. Fabinho is absolutely controlling that midfield from deep. As you'd expect, Sadio Mane, Mo Salah, really asking a lot of those outside centre-halves in that back three, having to get an awful lot of support from their full-backs. But talking of Manchester United, I mean, last season, Burnley finished 9 points behind Arsenal in 7th, Arsenal obviously being 6th. And I think that was the same margin from Wolves to Arsenal prior to this game starting.
Yeah.
But, I mean, having watched a lot of Wolves and Leicester this season, and some of the other middling clubs, like Everton have finished particularly strongly as well. Oh, just Mo Salah getting this on the volley, and he's blazed it over there, out for a goal kick. But my question is basically, well, I certainly think that the middle class in the Premier League are really coming, have caught up significantly this season with 6th place. Obviously, there was still quite a points discrepancy. 2 or 3 weeks ago, it was still like 12 points, wasn't it? But I want to know from the fans, who can Wolves and Leicester add to their squads to really snap back their heels to claim a 6th place finish from the likes of Manchester United or Arsenal? Because they need so much work in the summer that now is the opportunity if you want to break that hegemony, right? So
They're close, I think. I think Wolves and Leicester have been
very
impressive.
And Chelsea with the transfer ban as well. It's like almost.
And will Spurs continue to spend? Have Arsenal actually got a significant amount of money to
really
spend? It could be the perfect sort of maelstrom, couldn't it?
It's a really interesting point, but then I think Arsenal, United, obviously Chelsea can't. I think that we are going to spend a lot this season.
Spurs are going to spend. I think Tottenham are going to spend big this summer as well.
But you're still not sorted behind the scenes, are you?
No.
No director of football still. Only had loan signings.
Man United are the one I worry about
his disposal
the most.
in Jan.
Well, that's because the club from like top to bottom are like.
But United will always spend money, but if they spend it right,
exactly. Do they spend it right? And also, they're
it's
not in the Champions League, so there's going to be certain players that they won't be able to attract because they're not playing Champions League football. And also, I think the difference with Arsenal, Man United, Tottenham is that I don't think Tottenham needs to strengthen massively. Yes, I think they need to strengthen. Arsenal do a little bit, but I think Man United need to strengthen it immensely.
That's a project.
As a project from top to bottom in order to compete. And it's going to be difficult for them to do that without Champions League football.
Yeah, and I think there's so many teams that top players will look at and think, well, I can go to Tottenham, I can go to Chelsea, Liverpool, City.
Yeah.
All these teams, United, and how they had their draw was because they were a global top club, but they always had that Champions League.
Yeah.
And now they don't have that. He's got a proper project on his hands, I can tell you.
It's going to be a tough
And they also had a bit of star power in Jose Mourinho. A lot of players would have wanted to play under him because of his pedigree and his consistency in terms of trophies. Now they've got 4 or 5 obvious holes in the first team, and they've got an untried manager at Premier League level. So I think it is going to be a little bit more difficult. They are probably one of the few clubs that can still attract players by virtue of paying massive wages. But they've got Sanchez on 400k. They've got to shift him first before they bring in someone ridiculous like Jadon Sancho, haven't they? And I don't back them to go and get a Harry Maguire over a Jadon Sancho. I think they'd still go all guns blazing.
There's a chance for City there, but let's just remind you of the results. There's been goals galore on the football social today. It's Brighton 1.
Chance for City.
Manchester City 1. Chance for City.
Did it go in? No.
It's not going in. It's
player's
behind
gone in.
4
Morris,
corners.
yeah.
So it's currently Brighton 1, Man City 1. Glenn Murray giving Brighton the lead. Then Sergio Aguero.
Chance for Wolves.
A minute later,
Wolves.
equalising. Wolves with a chance.
Wolves.
And it has been cleared. It's Burnley 0, Arsenal 0. Dave saying Burnley started very positively in that one. 2-0 to Crystal Palace against Bournemouth. Michy Batshuayi with both. 24 and 32 minutes gone with the 2 goals. Fulham 0, Newcastle 2. Fantastic John Joe Shelby goal. Comes in a minute, Will, and Ayoze Perez. Leicester 0, Chelsea 0. Liverpool lead Wolves 1-0. Sadio Mane. If things stay as they are, they will be crowned Premier League winners. Man City 0.
Yes!
And it's a goal!
Yes!
Man City!
There you go. There you go. It's
Sean
corner.
Goater, is that the goal that wins Man City the Premier League title?
Yes, we're going over to Liverpool live. We don't hear you.
Enric Laporte
Silence
through
is
this
golden.
goal in as much glory as you'd like.
Wow, Laporte is one of the centre halves, steps forward. Normally when he comes forward, he wins the ball. This one, right on the 6-yard. He comes in, free run, bang!
Lazy.
Right into the bottom corner. Love it. That's me having it. Come on.
Who's even picking him up there?
Wow.
That's a
I
weird
think it's
combination of
Murray.
zonal and man marking, isn't it?
No.
No one.
It was Murray.
Good finish, heads it into the ground as you're taught, aren't you, as a striker, as a defender. Head it down,
What
doesn't
a
go over the
header.
bar, heads it
Bang.
into the ground. Keeper planted. It's in the back of the net. As things stand, Man City will be crowned Premier League winners.
Yes. Well, you said head it down, but the important information is head it down to the goal line.
Yes.
There you go, kids.
Okay, sorry.
Take that bit of advice.
Of course, listen to Sean Goater's advice over mine. He's played at a much higher level than I will ever dream of playing. There's been a third goal at Crystal Palace. Will Brazier.
There's been a third goal at Crystal Palace, but as it stands, Smithy, permutations, West Ham will finish in the top half of the Premier League. Unbelievable scene. Stop the press. It's 2-0 to West Ham against Watford and 3-0 to Crystal Palace.
Talk us through the goals. Who scored for both?
It was an own goal. Wilfried Zaha kicked it against the keeper and then it came off the right-back shins and rolled in. One of the rankest own goals I've ever seen. And I'm just getting a replay of the West Ham goal now. Great work on the edge of the area. Still great work. Well, they stops it there. Oh, he saves off the bar and then a little tap in there. It's a great save, but I think that is...
Lanzini.
Lanzini, number 10, I believe. Yeah, is Lanzini.
So it was,
great strike off the bar.
It's a good save as well by
and
the
Lanzini
keeper.
Cannot miss from there. He's 3 yards out, running in, heads it into the back of the net.
So, 2-0 there, 3-0 at Palace, 2-0 for Newcastle, and Southampton versus Huddersfield 0-0.
Quiet moment in our 2 feature games we stand. Dave, just round up your 4 games and any talking points that you've seen
there was
since
a
you last
chance
came to...
for the young kid for Man United, Greenwood, is it? He was through on goal. He had to just hit the target. He's blazed it wide. Not a good...
Still 1-0 in that one?
Still 1-0 to Cardiff. But Charles... Oh, he's just over the bar. Cardiff, as much as Man United are definitely on top, even though they're losing, Cardiff do look very, very dangerous again because they're playing with a level of freedom that when you're already down, that can kind of bring you. Everton, Spurs, definitely Spurs on top here. That's basically done.
Still 1-0, Eric Dyer for that one.
Still 1-0. And Leicester definitely on top against Chelsea. And Burnley Arsenal's definitely evens. So
0-0 with Burnley Arsenal, 0-0 Leicester Chelsea. Every time we've come to you, Dave, you said Leicester's still on top, but have they had any chances, creating chances?
They had little half chances, but nothing where you say that, that player definitely should have scored. So, but they're all really good games, but there's not many goals.
OK, let's remind us of how the table stands. There's so much going on the Football Social. This is how the table stands. So Man City were 1-0 down, but they are now 2-1 up. So as things stands, they would finish on 98 points. Liverpool beating Wolves 1-0 currently, so they would finish on 97.
Here we go.
97 points.
Here we go.
Would not be enough to see them lift the Premier League title. And as things stand as well, Tottenham would leapfrog Chelsea into third due to the fact Tottenham winning 1-0 up against Everton thanks to that Eric Dyer goal, and Chelsea 0-0 against Leicester. And Dave saying Leicester been the better team. And there's been another goal. Will.
Friend of the Football Social, Birmingham City legend Nathan Redmond has bagged for Southampton. He's had a renaissance period since the new manager has come in, and he's bagged one for Southampton. And it looks like Huddersfield will be getting the joint second worst Premier League points total in the history of this fantastic competition.
Stato.
Literally read it once.
It's the same stat 3 times. Sean. Chance in your game.
Yeah, Sterling, nice little 1-2, gets to the byline, he flashes across the box, and there's absolutely no one there, apart from a Brighton defender, to clear it. And it looked like an easy tap in, great bit of work, but unfortunate, no City striker there to tap it in.
Have a look at the Redmond goal if you can. Look at that.
I was going to say, was it a bang? He has a
made in Southampton, but
it?
born in Birmingham. Fantastic. Look at that.
Absolute humdinger from Nathan Redmond. Been a good run of form recently, and he whips it.
It'd have been a shame if Southampton had gone down, wouldn't it? Because there's definitely worse teams than them. Teams that play a much worse brand of football. So I'm glad they're nice and safe.
There was also a sub in the after game. Mavropanos has come off in tears on the bench with Ron Koscielny having to come on, which is not great because it means that he would have had to have an injection to play 60 minutes when he probably shouldn't be.
He has no Achilles left, does he?
Absolutely stupid. But obviously when a man's down,
Wolves playing on stumps, Sean.
Chance Mo Salah's just gone down there, and Wolves clear the danger. So we're approaching the halfway mark. Loads is going on. As things stand, Tottenham leapfrogging Chelsea into third, and Man City will be crowned Premier League winners as things stand. But as I say, we're 3 minutes away from the half-time whistle and a full second half to go. Get your questions in. We'll read as many of them as possible at SoccerAM, at Football Daily. The ways you can get in touch with us. Use the hashtag #TheFootballSocial. There it is on your screen. Very straightforward. Any questions, comments, thoughts, whatever, get in touch and we will give them to our panel. Your games, Will Brazier, we haven't come to you now. Just give us a roundup of how they're going. The scores on the doors, please.
Yes, it's Watford 0, West Ham 2. Watford started brightly, but it's been all West Ham. Superb goal from Martin Noble. Southampton took the lead just there through Nathan Redmond. 1-0 to them. Fulham 0, Newcastle 2, Crystal Palace 3, Bournemouth 0. I think that's right.
Thank you very much, Will.
And Jason Punchin's getting a round of applause.
He is, isn't he? They're loving Jason Punchin in the crowd.
A bloke's come down to shake his hand. You've got to stay in your seat, sir. That's what seats are for. Don't like to see that. He's there for a good day.
What a goal. We've just seen that goal from Nathan Redmond. We've seen some great goals today. Worth pointing out, John Joe Shelvey with a great strike for Newcastle. Nathan Redmond with an equally good goal for Southampton. Seen some lovely finishes so far. Man City on an attack. Sean.
Yes, and this is what it's been like since they scored the second goal.
All Man City?
All Man City on the attack. then Brighton just really setting up inside and around that 18-yard
Oh,
box.
Wolves are in here. Oh! Chris Hamill, bar, hits, Wolves. Why?
Oh, Doherty hitting the top of the beans on toast. He's been pretty prolific this season from that right side, hasn't he? Otto to Jimenez lets it through his legs, I think, onto Jota. And Jota's played it onto him. A really slick counter-attacking move from Wolves, and that is the best they have been going forward. A little bit disjointed, Van Dijk winning the battle with Jimenez, but that got away from Robertson.
Look at this slow-mo replay we're saying. It is away. Oh, it's off the crossbar. What a fantastic season, the stanchion that Matt Doherty is having. Wolves have won 16 points in 11 games against the big six sides this season. They've beaten Chelsea, they've beaten Tottenham, they've beaten Arsenal, they've beaten Man United, they've knocked Liverpool and Man United out of the FA
Here we go,
Cup.
Smithy.
And on the attack again, Chris.
Oh, God, if Jimenez had a bit more pace, then he was away.
There you go.
Another bit of hope for Man City fans as well with regards to the Liverpool game. Wolves have scored 30 of 47 Premier League goals this season during the second half. They love second half goals. So,
Oh my God!
worth pointing out it's not done there by any stretch of imagination.
Look at
Will,
this.
what's just happened here?
Bottom right, bottom TV, absolute pinger from
Oh!
Why do they do
goal.
Why do they do these awards so early?
What
We've
a
had 3
finish.
today.
We've had 3 absolute screamers.
That was one
in
of
our
those ones
games
where the
today.
ball barely moves. It
On
just
the
goes
valve.
straight.
Will,
Yeah, straight
did you
over the
see
valve.
that coming when he was lining up for that strike? Because that is a good 20 yards out,
I'll be
25
honest,
yards
Smithy, I
out.
didn't see it coming because there's too many games to be watching. But I caught the replay and it looked like a humdinger. And the comeback is on. One of the great comebacks of all time could be on their way at Crystal Palace versus Bournemouth.
There
Stick
you
around.
go. So Wolves on the attack again. Wolves have sort of got into this game. Last 5 minutes looked quite dangerous, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just getting caught up in the hyperbole of, the greatest comeback of all time that could be Crystal Palace versus Bournemouth. So I was watching the replay of that. Who was it that scored the goal, sorry?
Lerma.
Jefferson Lerma, the destroyer in central midfield, scoring an absolute humdinger
I think
like
it's
that.
days like this where you get it from there. It's the
Well
last,
done, company.
it's the last day of the season. You think, I'll just have a little hit.
Yeah.
Just have a little hit.
Probably. Nothing to lose.
Here we go.
Who's had the weirdest lineup so
Free
far?
kick for Brighton.
Who's had what?
Yeah, the weirdest lineup, because that's the best thing about the last day of the season, isn't it? Just really weird experimental lineup. So we've seen
United's
that from
pretty
any
weird.
team so far.
United is like
A lot of changes for Arsenal, aren't there?
Yeah.
Man United have rested a few.
Spurs rested a few.
Spurs, Champions League final.
I think Watford rested quite a lot.
So what do we think about Ander Herrera not getting a place in the squad? Not an opportunity to say goodbye to the Man United faithful after 5 years of service of varying degrees. But
I honestly
would you have
don't see anything
included
wrong
him?
with it? Because Ollie has to plan for next season. If he's not going to be
true,
there, then
yeah.
that opportunity can go to another one of his younger players that he wants to give.
Yeah, a lot of United fans sympathetic with it. So you saying you wouldn't have?
No, but I think we shouldn't forget that Herrera was actually offered a deal. So
So
you
true,
know, he's basically choosing to leave.
He's
It's
made
not-
his choice.
Yeah.
You go to Paris, mate. You have a good time.
Exactly. You know, go and have a bit of fun with Neymar.
Go and win league.
Sean Goater coming to you now because we're looking at
Yes.
season Man City head in their hands again. There's a chance for Brighton.
It is. It's a free kick. Company. I actually thought it was really good defending. The ref thought it was a foul.
And before we come to you, these are the scenes at Anfield right now. The half-time whistle has gone. It is Liverpool 1, Wolves 0. Chance for Brighton.
Oh, why did we stay with the free
Sean
kick?
Goater, free kick.
Yes.
Sum up your thoughts to that because that was a nervy
He's
moment.
only 35 mil. He's only 35 mil. Addison
What?
save.
Dunk's hit that.
I'm talking about my keeper.
Yeah, but Dunk's hit
Oh
it.
yeah,
the centre half.
Yeah.
What's a strike
Yeah,
that is?
I mean.
Oh, it's a fun one, isn't
Cristiano,
it?
isn't it?
But you
Cristiano Dunk.
What's the centre half doing on it?
I'm surprised he's not.
Great strike.
Dunk as well, of all people.
But Addison
Wow.
had to parry that one over.
So these are the scenes at the Amex. Of course, we brought you the scenes at Liverpool earlier where it lies. Liverpool 1, Wolves 0. Courtesy that goal from Sadio Mane, which at the time would have been good enough to win them the league. But because of these
Get
scenes
off
here,
that, Sean.
Brighton leading through that Glenn Murray goal. Then Sergio Aguero. Only a minute later, and Aymeric Laporte making it 2-1 Man City as the players walk off. Vincent Kompany will probably have a few words to say to his team, as will Pep Guardiola at half-time. As things stand, Man City will be crowned Premier League champions. But Sean, we've got to say, they've got a goal behind.
Yes.
There was a big chance for Man City that Edison fumbled at the end there. This is a tougher game than I think a lot of Man City fans envisaged before today.
I think Man City fans always knew it was going to be tough because when we played Brighton before in the FA semi-finals, it was a tough
game, wasn't it?
Yeah. So, I think the players, the most important thing is the players knew it was going to be tough. Brighton, and again, I think City just need to come out really sharp, on the front foot in the first 20 minutes. potentially, hopefully get that third goal, and I think they'll be able to manage the game through for the remainder. But it's important to start Brighton in the second half.
Brighton's attack has been statistically very poor, so I can't imagine they're going to be back into this. But obviously, it's built a bit of tension. Stranger things have happened. Yeah. We saw that free kick there.
And there's a free kick, speaking of them, at Burnley. Our main feature game's gone to half-time. David, let's stay with you, because Arsenal have got a free kick at Burnley.
He's going to swing the ball in. Oh, no.
Dave, can we just... For people who haven't seen that, can you just tell us what happened with that free kick, please?
So, literally, we've got 2 minutes into stoppage time. The ball's out wide on the left. Mkhitaryan decides it's half-time. Absolutely pathetic.
So, if you've got any idea what happened there, I think what you're saying is it wasn't a great
It was a very poor corner.
And the half-time whistle has gone. Half-time whistle gone in all of our games now. There's a couple that are still playing. No, they've just gone. So we can take a little breath now, because that has been a mind-blowing first half. Will Brazier is on his knees. Yeah. Here we can have a look at the half-time scores. It is Brighton 1, Manchester City 2. Glenn Murray giving Brighton the lead after the 27th minute. Sergio Aguero just a minute later, followed by Emerick Laporte in the 38th minute, mean that Man City are winning 2-1 at Brighton. That will be enough to win the Premier League title if they can managed to hold on to that lead. It is Burnley 0, Arsenal 0. Not a lot to report in that game. There's been very little in that game that's happened. Crystal Palace 3, Bournemouth 1. It's all going on at Selhurst Park. Michy Batshuayi with 2. Jack Simpson and Jefferson Lerma scoring a screamer for Bournemouth. So many great goals that we've seen today. It is Fulham 0, Newcastle 2. John Joe Shelby, another absolute great... I can't even think of the words. Another humdinger from him. Ayoze Perez with the second. Leicester 0, Chelsea 0. It's Liverpool 1, courtesy of Sadio Mane. Wolves 0. Manchester United 0. Cardiff City 1. Nathaniel Mendes-Lang winning the penalty. Nathaniel Mendes-Lang converting the penalty. Southampton 1, Huddersfield 0, thanks to Nathan Redmond. Spurs 1, Everton 0. Eric Dyer. If things stay like that and things stay like they are in the Leicester game, Spurs will leapfrog Chelsea into third place. And it is Watford 0, West Ham 2. Mark Noble, Manuel Lanzini. What a first half we've witnessed, Dave Jackson. We can start to have a breath now. Wow.
Scenes. To be fair, Sean actually called it. He said it wouldn't be the worst thing if Brighton actually go 1-1 up to kick them, start them back into, what they needed to do. Because the moment it did, 90 seconds later or something like that, they managed to get the equaliser, and then probably another couple of minutes after that, they were 2-1 up.
Jurgen Klopp, do you think he's aware of what's going on at City? Do you think he cares what's going on? He said they're just focusing on his game, his job, but...
I mean, he absolutely sprinted down the tunnel at half-time, which would suggest that he's at least going to check out the score.
What's the results, guys? What's the results?
Or he might just need a wee.
It's true.
Possibly. Did you see either of the managers changing it? So City or Liverpool? They're both winning their matches, so do you imagine it'll stay as it is for a while?
I think they both talks really will be, listen, we've got to go out there again in the first 20 minutes on the front foot, making sure we're zipping the ball about. Interesting, we see at Liverpool the grass is being watered because Liverpool want to get the ball zipping. You see at Brighton, there's no water happening because City can't zip the ball about.
Good point. And the home teams, of course, Brighton have the advantage if it's their sprinklers not watching.
It's not what you think about as a non-player, is
Liverpool?
it?
No.
Don't think about it. I've never zipped the ball around in my life.
And there's lots of sprinklers going on at Liverpool. Not
a lot of sprinklers,
two.
yeah, exactly. So that's an important thing because to help with the tempo and...
Good point, yeah.
Yeah, so that'll benefit Liverpool with their water in it. And City, you'll probably see a couple of times the ball get jammed on the player's feet because it's sticky. And so this will be to the advantage of Brighton.
OK, here's the half-time stage in all our games. We can have a little Q&A with Sean Goaty now. Thanks very much for getting your questions in. Keep them coming at SoccerM, at Football Daily. Use the hashtag #TheFootballSocial. So many ways you can get in touch with us. Keep them coming. First question, who's the best player, Sean, you have ever played with?
It's a lad named Ali Benabia. He came to the club. It's a shame he came to the club when I was sort of just around 30. But he was a phenomenal player. He won French Player of the Year. And when he first came, we didn't know too much about him because typical back then, we just thought the best players were all in England. But what a player! A midfield. For me, he could play in this current City team. A midfielder.
Wow.
Yes, and I don't just say that loosely because we got some world-class players. But this Ali Benabia, he'd get on his left foot and he'd just look for the run. I mean, he used to find me when I didn't know where I was. Like, there you are, Sean. Is you and the keeper? Yeah, there you go. But, yeah, phenomenal player, Ali Benabia.
With that said, then, I think a lot of us, when you said he could play in this City current team, were surprised. Not in a negative way towards Ali Benabia, but just because how many world-class players they have in this current team. So with that said, do you think he fulfilled his potential?
I think that, he won French Player of the Year. And so, in his time of playing, he obviously done exceptionally well.
Yeah.
But nowadays, we're not only focused on sort of what's happening in the Premier League, but we focus a little bit globally. We know players as PSG and other clubs around the world. We got him towards the later part of his career, but he was still a player. I'd love to have played with him when he was maybe about 26, because I thought he was awesome and frightening at the age he was, yeah.
Ali Benabius answered it straight away. Boris BK says, Sean, did you ever envisage these days of City winning the league when you were a player?
And sat alongside, Smoothie. That's your answer right there. I never. No, listen, when I was playing at City, we were happy to stay in the Premier League, and our best season was ninth. So we were happy if we sort of reached ninth and around that comfortable area. But to say now where we are, it's like we're not happy if we're in third or fourth. It's like if we're in the season, middle part of the season, we're only happy if we're in the top two, because this is just where the club is. I feel we've got the best manager in the world. Between him and Klopp, these guys are just unbelievable in their tactics and how they play, and the brand of football they play. So I never foresaw it, and City deserve it, because for a club that's been as low as we were to a time when I used to wash my own kit. So I'd love to say to Sergio, wash your own kit, son.
He says Pep, their best manager in the world. Chris, do you go along with that? Pep Guardiola, the number one, because a lot of great managers.
Deep breath there.
Yeah.
Let me think.
Sure, I really wanted to consider that, Sean. And it's a question that we're asked an awful lot. And I think it would be nice to see him do it on the European stage of Manchester City. That's the only question mark that hangs over his kind of almost unrivaled managerial career at this point, at least the first 10 years of being a manager. And he said he's going to be at City for 2 more years. So let's see if he can really kind of create a foundation where City can go on to succeed after him, create a dynasty, and whether, or not, let's see whether, how reliable they are on him, and whether they've kind of future-proof the whole project. But, him, Klopp, you look at some of the big boys, Allegri, most certainly, Kovac, no, not at Bayern Munich, Tuchel, probably not in that elite group.
Pochettino, you'd have in that elite group?
Pochettino, for sure.
Yeah.
Pochettino, I think, is in the top 5 at this point, yeah. And Valverde, you look at, Madrid and Barcelona in kind of dire straits on and off the pitch to a certain degree. Barcelona kind of walking their way to another double at a time when La Liga football is not down and out, but there's certainly, it's certainly kind of flat as to deceive, despite, I think, there only being one of the year in the last 10 where they bettered the points total they gathered this season. But yeah, they're probably looking for new managers as well. Barcelona, that kind of job has become almost available as a result of that Barcelona-Liverpool game, hasn't it? So, yeah.
It's interesting you talk about the La Liga dominance, because 9 of the last 10 winners, we were looking at this last week, in European competitions. So the Europa League and Champions League of the last 5 years have all been teams from La Liga. Only Man United, when they won the Europa League, are the only team, and obviously now we're seeing, Sean, 4 English teams with the 4 spaces. First time that's ever happened. So do you look at that as a dominance ending from La Liga and starting in the Premier League, or is it a bit of luck that they've all got there? Well, how do you assess the sort of powerhouses?
I feel the shift is there now, because what we're finding in the Premier League now is, the European top managers are coming and taking or managing these top clubs. Yeah, the big jobs. So I'm not surprised in that, because not only that, but when I look at what Pep's doing, he's changing the game. You go look at lower league clubs, they're trying to play out the back. And the first thing I think, mate, you ain't got those players. what you're doing. But it just shows you the influence he's having. And not only that, but they also look at Liverpool, they look at Tottenham. They're looking at these teams and thinking, Chelsea, all these teams think, these guys are playing, they're all playing a certain way, but a lot of them have footballers at the back, centre halves that can handle the ball, step forward with the ball, and this is having an influence, because if we go back many years ago, centre halves will just head it, kick it, and punch you.
I watch Scottish football. That still happens week in, week out. But as much as kind of we're not sure about the spending power of the 3 or 4 clubs that are vying for those Champions League places in England, Real Madrid and Barcelona, you feel definitely are going to spend. And despite the fact that the Premier League has kind of dominated the coefficient in Europe this season, you do kind of think, it's just cyclical, isn't it? Because Eden Hazard wants to go to Real Madrid, made no secret of it. Paul Pogba wants to go to Real Madrid. I think Barcelona can still take whoever they like. But yeah, there is that. If two teams are competing for the same player, like De Ligt, if it was Manchester City and Barcelona, you would say that the Pep factor. I'm not sure if Klopp has that allure. Maybe so. Maybe Liverpool more so than Manchester City as a club. But yeah, I think he's one of the few managers you move to play under rather than the club you're going to play at.
It's an interesting point because I think if Liverpool were to win the Champions League, I think that's a huge draw because Liverpool got that global fan base. Obviously, like Man United. But if they were to go win the Champions League, that will put more pressure on Pep because, the higher-ups at Man City are wanting City to win that. Yes, Pep says we want to retain the Premier League, but behind the scenes, the heads are saying, listen, this is Champions League, we're after, that's what we want. So if Klopp goes and wins that, and you're a world-class player hovering around thinking, all right, I want to leave this club or that club, Liverpool will be an equal draw, and I think it'll be a real competition as to choose between City and or Liverpool in their situation.
Yeah, a few more questions we'll get to. Obviously, a lot of people talking about the famous playoff game, Man City game. We always talk about the Aguero moment, but a big moment was the League One playoff game that you played in, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm so glad. Who is that? I'm so glad they asked.
Johnny's asked a question. We've got some stills that we can bring you actually about that. Brilliant. Sean goes really. But here we go.
Yes.
Just for a lot of the younger viewers, I remember watching this game. But for the younger viewers that don't remember this game. Remind us, it's Gillingham.
Yes.
Remind us of how this unfolded, because this was an unbelievable. I'll never forget that Dick-off knee slide goal.
Oh, yes.
But just talk to us about that day.
Right.
Johnny's just asking, what was that like to play in?
Wow, it was absolutely amazing because we were actually 2 goals down, 87th minute. They scored the second goal in the 87th minute. And then we went on to score in the regular 90 minutes to make it 2-1. Kevin Horlock. I'm glad you asked because people didn't realise I was playing. I actually had this shot that deflected to Kevin Horlock. I told Kevin I was assisting him. So Kevin went, strikes that in. It was a great challenge on me. I'm getting up, limping. I'm feeling sorry for myself a bit. And the players said, come on. The referee, he puts up 5 minutes injury time. Wow, there's this huge roar from the City fans. Come on! So at that time, we're just thinking, throw everything, kitchen sink at it. Wow, again, to make people remember that I was there. Gareth Taylor flicks it on. Kevin Horlock sets it back to me. I'm running in to strike it. A great challenge again, but I thought, instead of shoot, I'll flick it to Dickie. Yeah. And Dickie then finished it off. But it was a great challenge on me again. Dickie finishes it off, and from that point, wow, it was just beautiful because we would have never thought. It was 2-0, and at that point, we just knew we'd win it in either the remaining minutes or extra time. Yeah. But it then went to penalties. And I'll let you know, I know you didn't ask it, but I was your 5th penalty taker.
There you go.
I'm talking to him like he's on Skype.
Talk to him. That camera there, go on. Sean, that camera there. Talk to him.
Just to let you know, I was the 5th penalty taker. I was going top bins.
There you go. Sean got great memories for you. Let's have another one quickly. Fred has asked, this is an interesting one. Should Phil Foden look to move on in the summer to increase game time or stay where he is?
No, stay where he is. Okay. I think with some players not having enough minutes, I would say move on. Phil Foden, I think he's with the world's best players. He's winning the Premier League, likely to win the Premier League again.
But what if you sign Bruno Fernandes from Sporting Lisbon for £70 million?
He's still
plays in the same position.
Phil Foden's 19.
I know, but
he's 19 and he's playing under the best manager of the best players. He even if he stays for another season and only plays 2 games, he's still got. But he's 12 years of football.
He's kind of good enough to be playing, 20 games this season, isn't he?
But he's at the right place.
OK, we can show you some live scenes right now. The teams are coming up. We are moments away from kick-offs in the second half. Don't forget, all 10 games kicking off for the second half. Moments away. Here is Pep Guardiola taking his seat at the Amex Stadium. 45 minutes away from retaining the Premier League trophy as manager of Manchester City for the very first time. He looks very calm. He's got his famous cardigan is off, sip of water. No changes as we know. If any changes for any of the games, we will update you with them. But as things stand, Man City has just kicked off right now. And Liverpool's kicked off against Wolves as well. As have the others. Will, bit of a groan from you. What happened in one of your games?
I spoke too early. I said that West Ham would be finishing in the top half, but straight away from kick-off, Deulofeu did it in the first half, but it was offside, and he scored in the 46th minute. 1 minute in, he's rounded the keeper, literally straight from kick-off. The replay started. West Ham give it away. Pablo Zabaleta. on as a substitute. Oh. It's a perfect through ball. Deulofeu dinks it round the keeper, and the comeback.
So lovely finish from Deulofeu, because it's very rare that you see what Deulofeu does. He picks off the back pass, he plays it to the right and runs around the keeper to the left. Yeah, like a Sunday League finish, isn't it, that?
It's fantastic, that is. And the battle for 10th is now back on, Smithy.
Pele, yeah. It's back on.
Yeah, battle for 10th back on, so stick with me.
There we go. We're going back to Will in his 4 games. To be fair, your 4 games have been very exciting, thrown up a lot of great finishes.
Yeah,
you must be
I've
more happy
been,
than you are when you found out you were doing those 4 games now.
Hey, I'm just happy to be here, Smithy. It's been a great season, and what a way to finish it with a couple of screamers.
Well said. Man City?
Yes, well, it was Knockout had the ball, and he's tried some weird back heel, and City won it. Fortunately, the cross that came in, Sterling's touch was a bit loose, unlike Sterling, and Brighton were able to clear it, and now City's on possession again, just pinning them into the final third.
Instant Liverpool game, Mo Salah on the deck.
Yeah, a bit of a
free kick, is that?
Clumsy one from Willy Boly on the edge of the area. Mo Salah in that wide right position. He's just planted his foot and Mo Salah's gone over it. Not a dive, which, you know, at one point in the season Mo Salah was a big fan of, wasn't he? Went full Tom Daly for a good month when he was struggling through February, March. But it looks like he's going to take this ball.
So I'll stay with you, Chris, for this corner. Free kick, as you said.
Big
for
Divock
Liverpool.
on the end of this, 2-0. Yeah.
47 minutes gone.
If he scores, I'm going to go and get that chicken I didn't finish before
we
went live.
Oh, he's gone for goal.
Alexander Arnold going for the near post, yeah. Bit of a weird one, maybe saw Rupert just show quite stationary on his line, and he did fully go for that, didn't he?
Trent Alexander-Arnold has got an absolute wand of a right foot.
Yes.
Do you know what impressed me the most whenever I see him strike a ball is the whip that he gets on the ball without the backlift. the corner that he took against Barcelona.
It's kind of Beckham-esque, isn't it?
Without the backlift, that whip. And again, there's hardly any run-up to the ball.
Yeah.
And he gets so much power in it. Coming to win in a minute. Chance for Man City. Sean Gota.
Yeah, the cross needed to be more in the air. Disappointing cross, but again, City's just really got them pinned in their final third. When Brighton win it, City win it back and just keep retaining their possession.
There we go. Will, scream from you.
Yeah, Holebas has been shown a straight red card. Antonio was through on goal. He's beaten him for pace, but he's on the floor, he's on the deck. He looks like he's about to go into tears, but that would mean he would miss the FA Cup final. And it's not a bad tackle, it's just because he's last man.
Is it the right decision, Will? Because it's a big decision for him.
The ref's got no other choice. He's through on goal. He's caught Antonio. Antonio's gone down, but it's a normal game of football. You can't be playing because of permutations in the FA Cup final. Yeah, just in behind him. Referee's given
harsh, isn't it?
That does feel harsh. That feels very harsh.
But is that harsh? It's not. If that was your team, you'd be saying.
I don't know what about the double jeopardy rules, isn't it?
Was there an injury in the Spurs-Everton game, Dave?
I think Sanchez came on. Is it Sanchez?
Davison Sanchez on for Spurs.
Yeah, I don't know.
Is that through injury, through substitution? Do we know?
I think I'm not.
And speaking of injuries, it looks like another one in the Leicester game.
Yes, I'm trying to get word on my ear who
Jamie
that is.
Vardy.
Yeah, Jamie Vardy's down, which will be a big mess for them. But then again, it's the end of the season. He'll be off on holiday in about 6 hours, so I don't think he cares. So.
And he's retired from England, isn't he? So
he has.
Let him go to Nations League.
It's starting to kick off a bit in the Arsenal-Burnley game. Alex Iwobi's actually played very well today. He's taken the ball as a winger should and trying to take players on. He's been kicked a little bit, but that's what I want from my wingers. You know, I want him to see if he bruises on them. But Dele Alli came off. I think it was just.
Was that an injury?
No, I think it was just give him a rest. And it was actually Victor
Wanyama. So Wanyama on for Dele Alli in the Spurs game. Still 1-0 for Tottenham.
Oh, absolute ping station. Ward-Prowse just off the bar for Southampton.
All going on. 10 games going on. Get your questions into us as well, and we'll ask a few to Sean at the end of the show. At SoccerM, at Football Daily. Use the hashtag #TheFootballSocial. Sean, 48 minutes gone, second half. We saw Man City end the first half quite well, although Brighton did have that half chance with the free kick. How have they started the second half?
Well, it's actually good what they've been doing, because they actually just had Brighton pinned. Brighton, really, when they win it, they can't really put together anything more than sort of 4 or 5 passes. City win it back. Addison's had his first touch, really. And when I say he had his first touch, he dribbled the ball outside the box about 10 yards and went for a long ping. He slipped. Brighton could have capitalised on it, but no one on Brighton really picked up on it.
OK, free kick for Brighton in the box. David Silva not happy with that. Half chance for City, and it will be clear. Liverpool Wolves, Chris, how's that one started in the second half?
Yeah, a little bit tasty. Diego Jota just got a yellow card. Mo Salah still threatening on the edge of the area, but much like the first half, in that Fabinho's bossing it for me. I can see maybe a couple of changes pending soon, Smithy, 60-odd minutes.
Yeah.
we might see some influential figures come off, especially in that midfield. Naby Keita's been brilliant, hasn't he? But he's now injured. It looks like he's going to be out. Well, he is out for the rest of the campaign, because I saw him celebrating in a leg brace, Liverpool's Champions League comeback. And big slip there from Mane. Wolves might be in.
Do you see Wolves making changes? We've seen the likes of Traoré, Morgan Gibbs-White come on in 70-minute marks.
Yeah, maybe Ryan Brewster. He said Jurgen Klopp said we'll get minutes next campaign. Jordan Henderson there, though, reaffirming his importance in this side, defensively speaking. Cutting out a good opportunity at the edge of the box. But no, maybe around 60, 65, we'll see some more changes.
Yeah. OK, so just a quick reminder of all the scores on the doors. It is Brighton 1, Man City 2, Burnley 0, Arsenal 0, Palace 3-1 up at Crystal Palace against Bournemouth, Fulham 0, Newcastle 2, Leicester, Chelsea still 0-0, Liverpool lead, Wolves 1-0 at Anfield. It's Man United 0, Cardiff City 1 still, Southampton 1, Huddersfield 0, Spurs lead Everton 1-0 and Watford 2-1. They trail now at West Ham. Will, a couple of groans from you. Any other instance in your games?
Yeah, I mean, Watford are down to 10 men, but it's all Watford in that game trying to bring it back to 2-2 to stay in that prolific 10th place. Deulofeu was about 10 metres behind Zabaleta, put the burners on, went straight past him, and he should have shot, but squared it, and Felipe Anderson doing some great defensive work, kicked it over the bar, so it should have been 2-2.
Dave, Arsenal fan, we haven't spoken about Arsenal much from a fan's perspective. This is a game that I know that it was unlikely, but an 8-goal swing, still an outside chance. It looks like they haven't started brilliantly in the first half.
No,
Arsenal.
I think
it's been quite a flat game.
To be fair, like there wasn't like as much as having to go players like Mohamed Ali. This is the perfect game for them, like where we can rest a player like a Torreira, like a Xhaka, like a Lacazette in order to look to the final. So it's not the end of the world. Let's just get through the end of this season and hopefully win Europa League. The thing is, if he wins Europa League, he's had a great season. If he doesn't, it's been a disastrous season.
Do you think? Oh, chance for Cardiff!
Yes!
Oh!
Get in, Cardiff!
Man United 0, Cardiff 2.
Old
It's
Trafford.
Nathaniel Mendes-Lang again.
Yes.
And what a start from Cardiff. What a goal from Cardiff. And it's 2-0 against United, Dave.
Yes, and the wheels have well and truly come off. Ollie,
wow.
Somewhere Jose Mourinho is absolutely
laughing at me.
He's nuts off, isn't he?
It goes to show that job he did to
The
get
goal
them
for
second.
Arsenal. Oh, yes! Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang has scored his 21st goal of the season.
Oh, it's on,
Where would we be without him and Lacazette? I don't know. Probably
Two
somewhere
big goals.
mid-table.
You've seen a replay of the Cardiff one first. Talk us through the Cardiff goal, Dave.
It was just shocking defending from Manchester United. They've allowed the player to just literally run to the back of their line, cut the ball right. It's a pretty decent finish, although it would have been harder to miss. And I'm just watching the Arsenal goal. Oh, very, very poor defensive play from Burnley here. Ball's been passed through to Aubameyang. Taken touch, second touch, third touch, goal.
Oh,
fantastic finish
that
from
is
Pierre-Emerick
awful for Burnley,
Aubameyang.
isn't it?
And the race to golden boots on for him. He needs another one to equal it, and maybe another one to take it outright. So
Race to the golden boot, and of course Arsenal and Man United both battling for that 5th place as well, 5th and 6th. So big moment in that, because goals in both games at the same time.
What a good finish!
Massive for Solskjaer as well. Just mentally to say that I came. Like there was an improvement, the squad harmonised a bit, and we finished 5th as opposed to I arrived at 6th.
Yeah.
And we finished at 6th.
It's a fair point, that.
Yeah, I think I take a lot of pleasure in the fact that it all went wrong for United when we beat them at the Emirates. So I take an awful lot of pleasure.
And there's a lot of Man United fans that you work with as well.
I do. They're all giving it out.
One in particular who we all enjoy, his reaction to losing.
So there we go, 2 goals in very quick succession in that game. Tottenham, Everton on the attack. Slow attack. Everton against Spurs. How's that started, that second half? Spurs starting to rest players? Because obviously, you talk about Arsenal and Chelsea resting players. Spurs have an even bigger game. It's a Champions League final.
Yeah,
first time in their history. Do you think Tottenham will start bringing players off? Because it was quite a strong lineup.
I think it's actually been a very good display from Spurs, actually. They got the nice early goals. They kind of settled any potential nerves from their 8-goal swing. Yeah. And they've just been in complete control of the game, really.
Big save in one of your games, Will, talk us through.
No, it was actually Man United Cardiff that you were speaking to. Is the goal 3-2? I told you the comeback was on.
Wow, what a game! No one has even spoken about Palace Bournemouth. We've completely disregarded it, and it's been one of the games of the day. Will, what number goal is that?
That is number 5. We've seen some comebacks this week, but this could be the biggest of them all. Crystal Palace were 3-0 up, but Bournemouth have mounted a comeback for the ages. I can't tell you scored it yet, but it's worked in from the left-hand side all the way down to the byline. Pulled back. Who's this on the edge of the area? Right-footed.
Oh,
it's on near post.
That's Jefferson Lerma again.
I'll have to get back to you on that one, Chris.
Absolute. Number 10 is Josh King, isn't it?
Josh King.
But it takes a bit of a deflection.
It's just such a bad performance from Manchester United. If I was a Man United fan, I would be so angry at this.
So you're surprised?
Jordan I.
Jordan, are you surprised
massive
given the criticism United have had with recent performances against the like of Huddersfield?
The thing is, it's not just about being outplayed. They've been outworked at home. That to me is
and
the
they're already
biggest
down
mistake.
Cardiff as well.
I'd be absolutely fuming if I was a Man United fan.
I read a stat, Smithy, that this time last year, Solskjaer was manager at Mould, and it was his 8th consecutive defeat on the last day of the season as well. So very similar patterns.
Wow, very similar. Let's go back to the main games. Incident in the Liverpool versus Wolves game. Wolves player down, Chris. You were laughing. What happened?
Yeah, sure, not laughing at the potential injuries, laughing at the fact that Raul Jimenez has rolled about 6 yards to the left and then 6 yards back, onto the pitch. Following that, he's been absolutely buoyed by Van Dijk, basically, over to Will.
Will, go in your game. What happened?
I shouldn't have really interrupted you, Chris, but it's Huddersfield that have scored on their last day of the season. They're saying, no, we're not going to have the second worst points total in Premier League history. We're going out with a bang, and it's 1-1. I think it's Alex Pritchard.
Useful little player, actually. I quite like
Angus Gunn's got the ball. Oh, and he's tried to Cruyff there, and he's not, and he's looking like a mug. Oh dear. You don't do that. You just boot it away. It's 1-1.
Here we go.
Goes for City.
Oh, go on.
Oh!
Ping.
Great defending.
Great defending there by Brighton. Couple ricochets, Justin Folter, City playing. Yeah.
It looks like that one's being played in Winterfell. Look at the blue. Look at how grey that's. I mean, might not apply to people watching on other TVs, but you know, that is blue. Blue moon.
You got it.
So still just that one goal. Sean, City would want to
need that
just
next
have
one.
that next goal just to relax a little bit.
Yeah, we need that cushion. City are totally dominating with possession, but again, the chances that come, they're looking for that complete perfect chance, and it just needs. It can be scrappy, it can be ugly. We just need to get it and put it on.
Here we go, Man City.
Oh, foul.
Oh, cleared. Duffy and Dunk, they've been very solid this season. We've seen a lot of big games against Tottenham, against Arsenal. They've struck up a very good partnership throughout the season. How have they played, given that Man City have scored one from a corner, the other one was a quick succession from their goal? They haven't had loads of chances, Man City. Is that because of those two at the back playing well?
Those two, the communication between them, they don't allow too many spaces in between them. They're normally like 9 to 12 yards apart. So it's they're very close, they're organised, they dominate the area, and really it's actually stuff that comes on the sides of them. That's where City try to find the spaces, because those two read and understand the game so well. Great partnership for them too.
OK, so all Man City, love to see the possession stats, because every time we look at that game, Man City have the ball in the attack. They dominate possession, have the most possession, average possession of any team in the Premier League this season. So it's no surprise to see them heavily on the ball. Huge game going on in terms of an upset is Man United 0, Cardiff 2. And Cardiff's last win against Man United was 3-0 in November 1960, when Elvis Presley was at #1 in the chart with "It's Now or Never." Well, it is now or never for them to beat Man United, because they're getting relegated. Before today,
turned up.
Before today, Neil Warnock had lost all 4 games as a manager at Old Trafford. No pun coming with that one. That's just a stat. So there we go. So there we go. Cardiff City, famous win for them, potentially. What's happening in one of your games, Will?
Well, it's all going wrong for Watford. I presume Holebas is their starting left-back. He's gone off with a 3-game ban with a red card. And Delafeu, who's been so important for them, obviously, in that semi-final, who's just gone off with a calf strain as well.
Dave, your game, what's going on?
He should probably be sent off.
Oh!
Go on, wow! Dave, come to you in a minute, Will. Paul
Pogba has clearly been frustrated there. The ball's gone out wide off the field, and he's tried to get it back, but in doing so, he's dragged the Cardiff player Murphy to the ground. And once he's on the ground, he's had a bit of a claw at his face. He definitely should be off.
Seen them given before, red card.
Definitely,
Off.
Sean instantly didn't even see it, but you still think it's a red card,
Off.
Man United player involved, still got his Man City hat on, of course.
I'll be honest, I didn't actually know Paul Pogba was playing today, and that's not a dig.
Really?
I didn't realise he was playing. So, he hasn't really done enough.
Chris, is that James Milner we saw just
It was,
getting ready to come on?
His body fat must be close to zero. Scenes there of Jimmy Milner without his top on.
It looks quite impressive, doesn't it?
What a nod to his professionalism.
What has Leno done
He's
here?
absolutely ripped, isn't he?
Yeah, so James Milner about to come on. We'll let you know
I imagine
that substitution
I
is
imagine.
for, of course.
Who do you reckon it's going to be? Do you think he's going to play auxiliary left back? Robertson off, or one of the midfielders? Maybe
We'll
Jordan
find out
Henderson.
moments where there's been another goal. Will's seeing all the goals today. Who scored this time, Will?
Fulham 0, Newcastle 3, and I think it's Shah, who famously scored on a fantastic football social on Saturday
You
afternoon.
sure?
He scored 2. Shah with a
great
downward.
header.
Sean, what he's done there, he's done exactly what you said. He said headed it down to the goal line, and it's bounced in. Striker's intuition from a centre-back there.
Sean Goethe said that you strike it down into the ground, you strike it goalwards, and you've got a good chance of scoring. Shah did both. He did score exactly what you said, Sean.
And that's what you got to do. You got to head it down to the goal line. That way it can't bounce over the bar. Just as I took my eye off of that game. But brilliant header there.
Good goal.
Good goal.
Shaw's been great
very
all
good goal.
season as well, and he's been touted for a move to a bigger club. And I
Yeah.
can see someone like Everton coming in for him.
Jimmy Milner is about to come on. We'll give you that substitution.
God,
soon
I'm
to
so
know who's
excited
coming
to
on.
see who it's for, Smithy. Such has been the lack of goal action in this game.
We'll come to you as soon as we know who's coming on, Chris. 7th in the all-time Premier League appearance list with 515 games, about to be his 516th game.
Have you
Scored in 52 different Premier League games and has never been on the losing side, which is a Premier League record. Also got 82 Premier League assists, 7th in the all-time list. Been a phenomenal
Have you got the list of the top
servant
10?
for the Premier League. I haven't got the list of the top 10.
I thought you were going to spring a quiz time on us. You've missed an opportunity there.
We'll give you quiz time
quiz?
soon. But there's been so many goals with 10 games going on. And is there another one?
Again. Oh, he's played. I'll be
So
honest.
it's only Burnley, Arsenal.
I have to eat my words with Leno. When he first, the first half of the season, I was like, who have we signed there? But he's been fantastic.
Chance for Wolves, Chris.
Yes, Doherty in down the right here, and he's held it up. Oh, Jimenez coming in there, but it's cleared. It was going to drop to Jota, but it looks like Joel Matip got in there.
Got to be a free
Is that a
kick.
free kick? No, should they not have had a free kick there, Wolves?
Divock Origi playing on though, and he's
Oh,
playing it to Sadio Mane, holding up on the left-hand side. This is where he likes it from. He can bend it in from here. Divock!
And Wolves fans would have been very unjust if that had gone in because they're claiming a free kick down the other end, straight down the other end. Origi with a chance. And it just sails over the bar, Chris.
Origi also claiming he was pulled here, and he did fall when he was shooting. Mo Salah unlucky not to take that in his stride. No, it's a corner. He's claiming a corner. That's what he's claiming. That does hit a Wolves player on the way over, I believe.
Oh,
Cardiff.
It's a
Connor
great clearance.
Cody, what a block. He's had a fantastic season, Connor Cody, as well. Played every minute of the Premier League this season. One of the very few
Hello.
actual
This might be a
players to do that
surprise
as well.
substitution here, Smithy.
Go on, who's coming off?
Looks like Divock.
Ooh.
Or James Milner going.
Saving him for the final.
What do you make of that?
We're going
Divock Origi
4-4-2.
off for James Milner in a game where it's only 1-0 to Liverpool. That is an interesting substitution, that.
I mean, he's kind of playing as an inverted forward, isn't he? So I imagine maybe Wijnaldum might go slightly more attacking and James Milner goes into that midfield three. We'll see if that
Interesting
happens.
substitution.
We'll
so
see if
Milner
that
off,
happens.
Origi
I
on.
really am puzzled.
Other way around, so Milner on.
Oh,
Origi
my.
off. Shows the City.
Oh! It's over! It's over! It's over! It's over!
It's done.
Oh, I told you, Boris! Boris! There you go!
Is that the goal that clinches the Premier League title, that retains the Premier League title?
God, Sean.
Give it some beans,
We
Sean.
know what we are! Champions of England! Oh.
Is that the goal that wins Man City the Premier League title? It's a fantastic goal.
You know
It is
what?
Brighton 1, Man City 3. Have they got their hands on the trophy, Sean? Go.
Wow, with the finesse, the swag, the quality. It's a brilliant bit of play. This bit of, oh my God. He just said, lie down. I don't know, it was a dunk, but what a move
It's a
by
big chance.
Suarez.
It looks like he's going to shoot on his left foot. He cuts inside. He shoots this right foot. It's in the top corner.
Comes
Keeper
across
gets a
it
hand
as well,
to it.
doesn't it?
Yeah.
But it is a Duffy and Dunk have been phenomenal all game. Nothing to do with that. They can do nothing about that.
Yeah.
Right foot strike. Keeper gets a hand to it. Boss, back of the net. See you later. Massive goal in the title race. Pep Guardiola is going crazy, as is Mikel Arteta and all the coaching staff. Meanwhile, there's been another goal in the game at Turf Moor. What happened, Dave?
Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang is the joint top goal scorer in the Premier League. He's taking
finish.
the boot home. 22 goals, unbelievable finish. Forget the title, it's Mickey Mouse. No one cares, mate. It's all about the rest of the goal.
Is it whoever's got more assists takes the golden boot home, like it is in...
Yeah,
As
exactly.
you go along, mate.
So,
Just be joined.
I think Dave just wants Aubameyang to take it home.
I just want something. Give me some
Give me something.
silverware.
No, I can imagine that. as well.
Smithy, I've had 2 goals as well while all that was
Two
going.
goals. We haven't even spoken to Will. Will, I want you to be more dramatic with these goals going. They've just got in now. Go.
Ryan Babel's just made it 3-1 to Fulham. It's the last day at the Cottage in the Premier League, and they're going out with a smile on their face, and the Bournemouth comeback is over. They won't be getting their record point total in the Premier League. They'll just have to suffer with 46 unless something magical magic will happen with 20 minutes remaining. They've scored! No, it's off the post.
Tottenham Everton, what's going on in that game? Slight chance of Spurs?
Yeah, there wasn't a chance. No one cares. Next game. And Arsenal back on the ball. Well done. Let's go again. No, there wasn't much of a chance.
Dave, in your game, it's 1-0 Tottenham against Everton. It's 2-0 to Cardiff at Old Trafford.
Yes,
2-0 to Arsenal at Burnley. But nothing. We haven't spoken much about Leicester-Chelsea. What is going on in that game? You're saying Leicester are the better team. And it looks like Okazaki's coming on for Leicester.
Yeah, which will be his last game for the club. They played. To be fair, the whole game, there's nothing like to play for there. Obviously, Chelsea a bit conscious about the cup final coming up. Good save, Bernard Leno. He's been fantastic today. Despite being 2-0 to
chance for Burnley. Ooh.
Are they just taking Wilfred and Didi off for Leicester? Because, you boys support a lot.
Goal for Burnley! Yes!
Go on, Will, I'll let you explain that, because for some reason in the Burnley game, which Dave's watching, he hasn't reacted to it because it's a goal against Arsenal. Sean Dyche is drinking his water in happiness. What happened, Will?
Ashley Barnes with a deft header right at the near post. Some good work right on the byline, and he's flicked his header
Here it is.
And surely the comeback could be on for Burnley.
Imagine, Dave Jackson, imagine.
Terrible defending at the back from Arsenal. Had the chance to clear it. Leno with a good save, but it's been recycled. And lovely little chip
nice
in.
little clip ball.
Oh, hang on, we're still going. And it comes back and back around. Have another one. Have as many goals as you want.
That couldn't have been a more Burnley goal, could it? That was absolutely
Is that top goal scorer with 4 goals?
Sean, come on. Sean, another chance for City. Oh, narrowly wide.
Oh, yes.
Great header. Gundogan, is that?
Yes, Gundogan.
what was that
Quality player there in the midfield. You know what? He's just gotten better and better as the last few games he's been playing. Yeah. We ain't really missed Fernandinho. It sounds funny saying that, or strange saying that.
I was going to say, you take that back.
Very well, sitting in there in the midfield.
So Ashley Barnes with the goal it was for Burnley. Will, as you said, Barnes interestingly having his best ever scoring season in the Premier League with 11 goals. That is now incorrect because he's got 12 goals after today.
Pretty good for a Burnley striker, 12 goals.
It is good because it's the joint most by a Burnley player in a Premier League season, along with Danny Ings in 2014.
That's like 36 in any other team.
My apologies.
8 goals in his last 15, 7 in his last 14.
West Ham in here, chance to wrap up 10. Great save by Foster. Yeah, and Crouch on the bench for Burnley. Just be nice to see him for no reason at all.
Would be nice to see him.
You're a doppelganger, isn't he?
He's a little bit taller than me, which I'm slightly
6'9".
envious of. Is he?
No, 6'7", isn't he?
I'll take
6'7".
6'5" myself, for anyone wondering.
So you're right, you were
now, Dave. Arsenal.
34 minutes of the season to go as we head into silly season. Oh, chance for us? No.
Hazard coming on. Oh,
no. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Dave's been raving about him.
Hello!
Oh, sorry, I was watching...
Coming back to you in a minute. 20 goals in 35 Premier League appearances this season. Only Mo Salah scored more. That is before today. And, of course, he's been on the score sheet today as well. Chris Hamill, your game, what happened?
I was just watching Eden Hazard getting warmed up to come on because we haven't heard from Leicester-Chelsea, and I thought it'd be a good game. But big switch out from the right. Matt Doherty and Jimenez gets a little flick in or leaves it for Jota, and it's a really good save from Alisson, keeping his team, in with a very, very outside chance of winning said Premier League. But with this, does he go one ahead of Ederson for Golden Gloves?
Yes, he does. The Golden Glove
there
currently before the game
that'll be
was tied
small
at
consolation.
20. So with this, of course, Liverpool 1-0. Man City have conceded despite the fact they're winning, so that would mean that Alisson will win the Golden Glove.
Get it! Goal for Everton! Theo Walcott, the man that Wenger sold to keep the dream alive 3 years later. We need another 5 goals from Everton here, and the dream is back on. Specialist Arsenal, go on! And they go on! Oh! Save from the Burnley keeper.
Big
massive goal for Theo Walcott.
That means Chelsea will remain in third, not Tottenham. Talk us through the Everton goal.
The ball played out wide. Theo has done the business there. It's a fantastic finish. He was on the corner of the Spurs box through a congested box.
Fallen over.
Lovely finish there.
He's fallen over.
Oh, fantastic goal for Theo Walcott.
Off the post.
Lovely.
So that means we can show you what that means. But Leicester 0, Chelsea 0, Tottenham 1, Everton 1. I mean, as it stands, Chelsea will finish third, not Tottenham Hotspur. Tottenham would finish fourth, Chelsea would finish third. Worth pointing out, they'd both go straight into the group stage of the Champions League, so no differences there. But of course, London Pride up for grabs. Chelsea would nick that third spot.
For Cardiff again?
Although Leicester looking quite a good second half, you said, Dave. Any real chance in that Leicester-Chelsea game?
No, there isn't. I believe Hazard is on, which is hopefully he can pick up a little injury ahead of the final. That's what I'm kind of hoping for. Yeah, basically.
Not a serious one though. We don't wish serious injury on anyone.
Oh, just out for 9 to 10 days, and then you can come back. Perfect.
Corner for Man City, Sean Gota.
Oh, yeah, it's cleared on the 6-yard line there. anything in the air, really. This is where Brighton are pretty good dealing with it. But City, again, with another bit of pressure. Shot by Zinchenko. Big distance for him, really.
What we need here is a Brighton goal.
Son.
Yeah.
We need a Brighton goal. Sorry, Sean, but we need a Brighton goal for the end of this stream.
For the content.
Well, all we could do
Content
for Wolves
never
go give you some content.
To be fair, we would get content in terms of Sean Goater's reaction if Wolves scored.
Oh, yes.
So the 8th time, of course, it's reminded that the Premier League title will be decided today on the final
goal!
day. The first time in 5 years it's gone down to the final day. There's been another goal. Every time we give you a stat, there's been a goal. Watford, West Ham, ball is in the back of the net, Will.
No more is the battle up for grabs. 10th will be going to West Ham United. What a season. Arnautovic scores, runs up to his fans and says, I'm staying here. Well, I don't think he will be if the money come goodeth. But it's a great save onto the post and he just mops up the rebound. But it's 3-1 to West Ham. Obviously, Watford got 10 men and an FA Cup final coming up.
Yes, worth pointing out that FA Cup final, huge game for Watford. A chance for
Goal!
Watford to get into Europe, of course, but also a chance for Man City to win the domestic treble for the first time ever. And another goal, Will.
4-3 in Crystal Palace Bournemouth. I said they could be getting their record points tally, and they seem to really.
Yes! Get it! Get it, Everton! We need a few more for the 8-goal swing to come in, but Everton have popped up one of a goal there now. Leading! Tottenham Hotspurs at whatever the name of their new stadium is, the Tottenham Hotspur Ponce White Hart Lane Stadium. And is this going to be their first loss at the new stadium? Adam Smith, will it be?
No, it's not. We lost 1-0 to West Ham.
Thank you for getting that in for me. Thank you. Yes, and it's 2-1 to Everton.
Scrappy goal.
If only we could have got.
That's what I'm talking about! Come on, baby!
Sean to score the goal. He can't because he's doing the pass, but he goes back to the goal. It is 4-1 to Manchester City at the Amex Stadium. Surely it is game, set and match, and there is no need for a tiebreaker. Sean Goater, tell us what happened in this game.
Wow, it was a free kick. Sterling was fouled, a blatant foul. Gundogan, everybody rushes around and Gundogan says, listen, let me just sort it out.
Here we go. Here
He steps up. He's calm. He looks at it. Four-man wall. Oh! When I say to you, top bins.
That is lovely.
That is top
bins.
Lovely.
And what a season Ilkay Gundogan is having. And incidentally, I've just done an interview with him, which is dropped on Soccerim's YouTube channel a matter of hours ago. If you want to know what he thinks of his Man City teammates, the man who's just won them the league, head over to Soccerim's YouTube channel now. Give us a like, give us a subscribe.
I mean, not now, Smithy. You know,
not now, after the game. Don't go there now. Please continue with us. But once you've finished here, go there if you would like. So that is 4-1 to Manchester City. We've got to talk about the top four now as well, because it's slightly more interesting.
It's not.
Devastating to say that Tottenham are 2-1 down.
Yes.
And Arsenal are 2-1 up.
Yes.
So give us the swing at the minute and what needs to happen.
Oh, dear.
We need a few more goals.
Oh, unlucky.
Arsenal on the attack here. Go on.
Saturday night.
Pierre, give us something. No. Come on.
So there's a swing of how many, Dave? And just remind us what needs to happen.
We need an 8-goal swing, and currently we're looking at a 2-goal swing, so not much is happening.
Is it a 2? Yes,
I think the 16-year-old's back on the field.
Elliott's, yeah.
The Chordog said that Man United got a goal,
score to get 20.
Goal for Man United against Cardiff, Dave!
I don't know. Phil, is that correct?
Yes, it is. Man United have just scored. It's Man United 1,
Yeah, they have
Cardiff
scored.
2.
I'm not
Big goal.
Yeah.
So many goals in the last 5 minutes. Just remind you what's happened. Tottenham have gone 2-1 down. Theo Walcott and Cenk Tosun. So it's 2-1. Tottenham against Everton. Arsenal currently lead 2-1 against Burnley. We're just seeing scenes of Noel Gallagher cheering that Ilkay Gundogan whipped it into the top bin to make it 4-1 to Manchester City. Shots of Liverpool fans devastated, heads in their hands. And Man United have won back against Cardiff. So as things stand, Man City would lift the Premier League title. Liverpool will be second. Chelsea would be third. And Tottenham have just scored. The magician, the man has whipped his wand out, and it is Tottenham 2, Everton 2. Get in there, you little Danish beauty.
This is pre-watershed, mate.
What a goal.
Can I just confirm he's not whipped his wand out, all right?
Go on.
The best looking man in football just popped out with a lovely free kick. Jordan Pickford has not covered himself in glory there, but very extremely good strike from Eriksen.
Sitter from Aubameyang.
What's that on the free kick? Oh, bottom corner.
My! Aubameyang's missed from 1 yard.
To take
it's a fantastic finish from Eriksen. Whips it. bottom bins with his right foot.
That is a lovely.
Oh, it's a lovely
That's
finish.
a lovely strike.
It's a lovely goal, Mason. We can confirm Man United haven't scored, apparently, Dave.
Well, that wasn't me, that was the Chordog in the air, wasn't
not
it?
Dave's.
Give
not
me
Dave's
all
fault.
that, come on.
Everyone is working tirelessly hard behind the scenes. They haven't scored. Cardiff fans, congratulations. It's still 2-0 on what is your last game of the season in the Premier League. And Danny Simpson is coming on for Leicester against Chelsea, which is still 0-0.
Aubameyang's missed the sitter there, by the way.
Aubameyang's missed the sitter, still 2-1, and it's 2-2 now.
Own.
Tottenham against Everton.
So we still need a few...
We'll give you the table as it stands, because interesting with third, fourth and fifth has changed hands a little bit, so we'll work on that. The graphics guys behind the scenes are working tirelessly because it has changed so often, and we will give you that shortly. But the important news is that Manchester City will be retaining the Premier League title if it stays like, barring an absolute miracle, Sean.
We've seen them, though. We've seen them, Smith.
Barring a miracle.
Those miracles are over. All that stuff that happened last week.
The week of miracles is gone.
Yeah, that's over.
A couple of subs for Tottenham. It looks like Ollie Skip and Vincent Janssen are coming on. You'd like to think this is with one mind on the Champions League.
How is a team in the Champions League final bringing on Ollie Skip and Vincent Janssen?
Because it proves, Chris, with all the money and media and everything in the game nowadays, that heart and determination have
You
got
just spent
Tottenham
£1 billion
through.
on a stadium. Don't give me,
Not on
don't
players.
give me that.
That doesn't, out of which we weren't playing in on Wednesday when the Great Escape happened. So it just proves that
Smithy,
it's been
I've
a
asked for
fantastic season with Tottenham, whatever happens now.
I've asked for it and I've got it. Peter Crouch has just taken his bib off and he will be making a ceremonial appearance.
There we go.
On the football socials
gee.
last Premier League weekend.
There we go. Right, we can bring you the table as it stands now. I'm going to have to lean forward to have a look at it. There you go. Man City, with their 4-1 lead currently at Brighton at the Amex Stadium, will get their hands on the Premier League trophy. Retained it for the first time in their history. The first time the Premier League trophy will have been retained in 5 years since Man United. Liverpool will finish on 97 points, having lost only one game and beating Wolves 1-0 at Anfield, finishing second. Chelsea currently in third due to the fact that they are 0-0 with Leicester. Tottenham in fourth due to the fact they are 2-2 against Everton at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Arsenal winning, but still not good enough to finish in the Champions League. They need an 8-goal swing.
I'm loving the little personal things you two are getting in as this winds up.
Sixth. Penalty, Will Brazier. What's gone on?
Penalty to West Ham. Watford are in full
really?
FA Cup mode. I saw one of the players trying on his suit for next week, which he shouldn't really be doing during a match. West Ham have got a penalty now to make it 4-1 and see out the 10th place finish that they so desired at the start of this game.
Substitution for Manchester City, and it is a Manchester City legend leaving the field, Sean.
And a legend coming on, De Bruyne, Kevin De Bruyne coming on, and that's trouble because I'm still hoping that Sergio Aguero will get that 20-second goal, and that will make that all interesting.
Yeah.
And I think he also wants to get another goal, so we'll see how that
Interesting
pans
to see
out.
how that pans out. Yeah,
Yes.
David Silva, instantly, Manchester City's record appearance maker in the Premier League, 281 appearances, make that 282. It looks like he will be getting his hands on the title, and it will be Vincent Kompany, Sergio Aguero and David Silva will be the three players set to win their fourth Premier League title with the club. Vincent Kompany set to lift the trophy as captain for a fourth time. Only John Terry, 5 times, has lifted the Premier League trophy on more occasions. Vincent Kompany, phenomenal player.
Yes, I think they just marked out the land to where they're going to put the statue.
Yeah. And another goal. Will Brazier, it's all going on in that game. Wow, what a match.
Mark Noble's got his second of the game. The man that time forgot, he just keeps on getting better with age. And he's bagged, and it's 4-1.
Chance for Man United, Dave, in that game at Old Trafford?
Yeah, it was Marcus Rashford, half a chance. They're just so poor.
What's the body language been like for the Man United players, given the fact they are losing at home in the last game of the season against an already relegated Cardiff
It's not
team?
like great at all. And the thing is, if like, for example, Ollie ever needed any more ammunition with the fans to say, this is why I'm getting rid of this player, this is the game.
Yeah.
So, not pretty...
Mendes Lang coming off fantastic match from Nathaniel Mendes Lang.
He's played particularly well.
Goal!
Another goal! Will, which one this time?
5-3 at Selhurst Park.
5-3?
Sorry, Bournemouth fans, but that is it. You'll be finishing on 46 points. Wilfried Zaha scored a left-footed low drive into the other corner. 5-3.
Oh, counter. Sergio's chance. Is he slipping him? Sergio
Aguero still there.
Shoot.
He's trying to put him in there as well, isn't he?
You know, Sergio, Sterling runs through 2v1 and he passes it to Sergio and he needs more pace on it. And that's the grass being dry. I'm certain it's the grass being dry. And that's the problem. Sergio is frustrated. He knocks it slightly behind him. So he has to check himself, and with that, the defence comes back.
You spoke about the sprinklers. They were on in 4. 6 sprinklers we saw at Anfield to wet the pitch for Liverpool. They didn't wet the sprinklers at Brighton. They didn't even turn them on, as Sean said. You thought if the sprinklers were on, that would be in the back of the net, you said.
Yes, that would have been it, because that pass would have got to him. He'd have had to touch. It would have been in the back of the net. So he's frustrated with that. And he's a bit upset with Sterling, thinking Sterling should hit it firmer. Sterling's thinking he's hit enough, and that's what happens when the pitch is dry.
Okay,
my appetite's not wet for this game. It's been dry as that pitch over at Brighton.
The sub that we always see, Adama Traore on for Wolves.
Yeah, Adama Traore has came on. James Milner is playing on the left.
Salah.
Go on, Mo. It looks like Van Adam's kind of playing as that, false nine, kind of inverted striker. And Liverpool, the news must have filtered from the stands to the pitch, because it has been a little bit, a bit more static, a bit flatter.
You know, everyone's on their phones. I used to like to see it when everyone used to have a wireless radio just up to
Oh,
the radio.
Chelsea! Oh, 2-0 Liverpool.
Sadio Mane.
And it's a great goal. Let's go to Chris Hamill.
He's thrown his hat in the ring late on for top goal scorer. He's on 21. We've got some players on 22, haven't we? But just as I was complaining about the game going flat, we have a cross deep from the right-hand side. And that man, Sadio Mane, hovering around the 6-yard box yet again. That's in fact 22 goals, isn't it now?
Yeah, 22.
To this 90, 20 prior, and suspicions of offside. But, the benefit
we can confirm there's
doubt.
3 players currently on 22 goals. Salah, Sadio Mane and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, and I'm informed that Mo Salah would win the Golden Boot based on assists. Yeah, so 3 players equaling.
When does that become a thing?
3 players equal, 22 goals.
It's been a thing for
Salah, Aubameyang. It goes to assists. Mo Salah has got the most assists. He will lift the Golden Boot. It's another disappointment for Arsenal. Does that just illustrate the season that they are having, Dave Jackson?
No, we're still in the Europa League final. We win that. We've had a fantastic little run, haven't we? So, anyway, another 10 minutes for bloody Pierre to step up and get his hat-trick, and he takes it on his own then, doesn't he?
We've had lots of goals today.
So 2-0 Liverpool. Can we let's just go to why it's quiet in our 2 feature games. Will, can you just remind us of the scores in your games? Because there's been some phenomenal goal-scoring games, high-scoring games,
I tell you what,
should I say, in your games.
That is a great question. You really put me on the spot there. It's Watford 1, West Ham 4, Southampton 1, Huddersfield 1, Fulham 1, Newcastle 3, Crystal Palace 5, Bournemouth 3. Is that right,
An
Phil?
amazing amount of goals in those games. Dave's on his feet. What's happening, Dave?
Well, half a chance for Arsenal? No, rubbish.
And at Chelsea?
Have we ever been in a predicament where 2 strikers playing for the same team are going for the Golden Boot on the final day of the season?
I can't remember it. Yeah.
Because that might be a collector's item. I mean, it's got Will on the floor. So.
Just got back.
Yeah, we spoke about that earlier, and I said it'd be interesting to see if they get.
And it's a nice moment in Brighton, important moment we spoke about earlier.
Off the crossbar, Van
Bruno
Dijk.
leaving the pitch, Sean Gota, and he's getting applauded by all of his Brighton teammates here.
Yeah,
Last appearance for him.
Yeah, I think
in
he's
the Premier
36, 37. He's up
worship round there. Isn't
Yeah, and it's he's actually played a decent game. He's played a brilliant game. So, well done to him.
Seeing the banners there. Thank you, Bruno. We love you, Bruno. You just saw that Pep Guardiola spoke about, someone that Pep Guardiola knows very well, of course, he spoke about in his pre-match press conference. Chris Hughton spoke about how influential he is in the dressing room, outside of the dressing room, and you can just see what he means to these Brighton fans here.
Yeah,
all of them standing and applauding.
Standing ovation, the fans there standing applauding him. He's come off, he's given a hug from his manager, but he's played well, and that's what he'd won in his last game. When I think back to my last game...
Yeah, I was going to ask you that, because he's quite emotional here. Just give us this insight of what this is like when you realise this is your last match.
Well, for me, it was a little bit more emotional, because it was Man City fans... It was Southend playing... Bristol City.
Yeah, I know what you're going to say.
And Man City fans also went. So it was 3 sets of fans there. For me, it was an emotional game because I knew it was my last game.
Yeah.
So I noticed the emotions going through him. But he's been brilliant today and a great servant for Brighton.
So that's worth pointing out as well for the young Man City fans watching that don't appreciate what this man did to the club. This man had Man City fans travelling to Southend on your last game, in a game that Man City weren't even involved in, just to sing Feed the Goat.
Feed the Goat. Yeah.
That's been amazing.
I mean, I don't think it's ever been done. And Google that. Hey, have a go.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Dave, a chance for Everton, corner for Everton in this game?
Never mind that. Arsenal pissing about in the back here. There's a corner for
Careful with your language. Careful.
No, there was nothing wrong with that one, is there? Well, we'll see, won't we?
Go on, what happened in the Arsenal game?
Arsenal defence just started mucking about, but they managed to...
And a corner for Everton now?
Ball going to be swinged in. Come on, Everton. Make me day. Come on. Back post.
Whipped in.
No,
Hugo Lloris.
Here we go. Oh, Morris shoots, son. He's done a 360 with 7 players around him and still comes out with it.
We want another company, Howitzer, don't we?
Wilfred Zaha going off at Selhurst Park. Could this be his last time at his beloved club? Smithy walking off to a rapturous applause. It seems a bit ceremonial.
Do you think so? Come on, give us an insight into the body language. Like when he's clapping, is it one of those waves as if to say goodbye wave, or is it a wave that there's a family member in the crowd? Are we reading too much into this? What do you make of this body language from Will?
He's taking off his... It seems quite a firm wave there from Zaha. All the players coming over. I'm looking at Roy Hodgson, but famously does not have any emotion on his face, so it's very hard to tell if that is his last game for Crystal Palace.
Yeah, my skipper's going off, so sorry.
Oh, that's a bigger one.
Company. City loves you more than you will know.
That can't be his last game.
Whoa.
Sure, he'll be there next
Vincent
season.
Kompany's contract still up in the air. Will he be a Man City player? And how important is it Manchester City tie him down?
Yes, they have to tie him down. I mean, they wheel him out for the big game, the huge games, and he always does the job. I will be amazed if Vincent Kompany is not at City as a player next season.
Amazed?
I'll be amazed. I mean, he's on
a year
and off
with
the
a view
field.
to coaching or something like that?
Sorry?
Like a year with a view to coaching in his any potential new contract. They'll want to keep him behind the scenes, won't they?
Yes, without doubt. And if he wants to go into coaching, well, you know, City's got about 10 clubs.
That is very true.
Yeah.
Very, very
He fancies a stint in Australia or Japan.
There you go, a bit of sunshine as well. Hey?
Can't go wrong. So we're in the 86th
Mark Phelan will be wishing he never
minute.
came back from Australia after this Man United performance. Dave?
Oh,
Mate,
mate,
absolutely shocking, haven't
they really
Looking at
have.
his
They
return
really
ticket.
have.
Chance for Wolves. Oh!
Tell you what, if you're United fans, get yourself down Salford. Cheaper tickets, much better football, and you get to see the class of '92 as well.
Yeah, all of them, don't you?
Bex was down there, wasn't he?
Yeah, all down there. I mean, Liverpool, you've got to look back and think, oh, I mean, what more? They must be thinking, what more could we have done to win this Premier League? It's been an absolutely incredible race. 2-0 they currently lead, both goals from Sadio Mane. Just an incredible, incredible title race. Sean, do you look back on Monday night now, which is sort of forgotten because of the absolutely phenomenon that was Liverpool and Tottenham in the next 2 nights. But let's not forget what Man City did on Monday night, how important that goal is from Vincent Kompany.
Yeah.
If that doesn't go in, it's a completely different story.
Yes, because Leicester played exceptionally well. We were up against it, and you're sitting there thinking, you know, with all the dominance the City had, Leicester always looked like they could get something on the break. Yeah. And it was like, where's this goal going to come from? Where's it going to come from? As Vincent steps up with the ball, I'm sitting there thinking, find another pass, do not shoot, do not shoot. He gets it on his feet, and well, what a strike.
Yeah, substitution, quite an important substitution in the Liverpool game, Chris.
Yes, Gini Wijnaldum coming off. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain has obviously struggled with injury for the past year. Had a couple of false starts in terms of his return, obviously not in the Champions League squad. So nice for him to get involved here. It's been a long road back from that pretty harrowing injury he received. At a point when he'd actually started to establish himself in the side, he won over a lot of fans, didn't he? He was vital to the way that Klopp was playing, in the same way that, you know, Lallana has been as well, leading the press. Very kind of, intelligent in that attacking midfield position in terms of being a press trigger. And he's back, so very good to see.
Yeah, great to see. And the form he was in as well. A lot of people forget how good he was, especially that Man City-Liverpool Champions League game and the league game building up to that as well. How good his form was for that horrible injury. And I think he would have been certainly a squad member for England, if not, you know, a very influential player within that famous World Cup. And it must be so hard to miss out on what was a great title race and a great World Cup campaign, physically and mentally for him. So great to see him back on the pitch. Will, quick update from your games before we focus on the feature ones.
I think this is the longest time we've not had a goal, so it's all gone boring here for 2 minutes. But West Ham here looking to make it a 5th. And Newcastle are in to make it 4. Oh, great save by the keeper. It's probably the first thing he saved.
So now it's...
it's in!
Oh, it's in!
Oh, sorry.
Explain what happened there.
I said it was the first thing you saved, but he just pushed it back to Rondon, and Rondon scored. So it's Fulham 1, Newcastle 4. The keeper's smiling, but you're being paid to do your job, mate, so maybe do it properly and stop smiling.
He do Rondon, he do Rondon. It's in the back of the net. Goals, scenes from the Newcastle fans.
Sergio Shams.
Oh,
what a block.
Game. Go on, Will.
Smithy, fun fact for you. Dwight Gale and Rondon swapped. Rondon was Newcastle's player of the season, and Dwight Gale was West Brom's player of the season.
Although Dwight Gale, night to forget really for him, day to forget yesterday.
Lost
scored the goal, but then sent off. So very well poised playoffs as well 4 massive teams in those playoffs.
So I reckon people should start getting who they think is going to be top goal scorer in the comments below, to be honest, because that's the most interesting narrative, isn't it, that's left.
Yeah, get involved. Good shout.
Oh, he's got 2 minutes to get a goal.
Who are we going for? Who are we going for on the sofa?
Pierre.
Tweet us your thoughts. 3 players currently on 22, same goals for Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, Sadio Mane and Mo Salah. Get in touch at Football Daily, at SoccerM. Use the hashtag #TheFootballSocial. Give us your predictions. Who is going to win the Golden Boot? Let us know who you think is to finish third as well. It's tight in Tottenham against Tottenham and Chelsea. Not a lot in that. Both drawing. Who will finish in third? If it currently stays as it is, Chelsea finish third, Tottenham fourth. If Spurs get another goal, Tottenham will leapfrog Chelsea into third. Chance for United, Dave?
Yeah, put a free kick for Paul Pogba on the edge of the box. He's hitting straight into the wall. The United fans are absolutely fed up, and I love it. So it's fantastic to see. They will be playing Europa League. Probably, potentially Arsenal will as well. But it's such a like disgraceful performance for Manchester United.
Disgraceful.
It really is. Yeah. It really is. But again, you can see the Man United fans leaving. They're not even standing to applaud them at the end of the game, which any kind of home club would at the end of the game of the last game of the season. You give them a round of applause, stand ovation, they'll walk around. But they're off. They're off down the pub or off to see.
They do not look happy, these Man United fans. Look how many empty seats. They're all leaving. And it's a valid point. It's the last game of the season. Players do the lap of honour. Yeah. A lot of these fans not having it are not going to be staying to watch that.
Yeah, because don't be wrong, you can't win every game, but there's ways of losing games as well. And they've lost it against a team that's already relegated at home. It's absolutely pathetic. Pathetic, Manchester.
Wow, strong words from Dave Jackson. We're looking at the banner at Anfield. We shall not be moved. Chris, but these Liverpool fans look absolutely gutted the way that this season is. The Premier League season, should we say?
What are they not being moved from? That's that stand physically. They're staying there for the rest of the night. I mean, yeah, it's a kind of gallant failure. But like I said earlier, there's a lot to take from this campaign, and if they can, momentum's the hardest thing, isn't it, to put together in football? If they can carry on into next season in the same way that this Cardiff result is going to be disastrous, going into the summer, in terms of the buoyancy, the feel-good factor around the club. A strong win against a very good Wolves side and a Champions League. Yeah.
So going into the Champions League final, if Liverpool lose the Champions League final and come runner-up in the league with 97 points, how do you reflect on that season? Because it's obviously still a good season, but that would be devastating for Liverpool Football Club to accept, wouldn't it?
They're almost becoming kind of victims of their own progress, aren't they, in that sense, if you say that's a categorical failure. Yes, to get so close and to not see one competition over the line. Particularly as
and these are the full-time scenes. It is done. Sorry to abruptly end you there, but the whistle has gone.
Oh, it's gone.
Jurgen Klopp shaking hands. And the whistle has gone at the Amex. It is Brighton 1, Man City 4, Liverpool 2, Wolves 0. And look at what it means to these Man City players. Sean Coates, you said that Mahrez is in. It's not just a let's give him a game. You thought they'd have an important role to play. He scored a fantastic goal, played well. And look what it means to Man City. First time they've retained the Premier League title, and they did it in emphatic style.
Yes, and this is the greatness of Pep as a manager, recognising that, fans were upset with Mahrez when he had that penalty against Liverpool some months back, didn't score it, but today the fans will love him. The fact that he's played a huge part in today's game and retaining the title, this is huge from Pep Guardiola. I don't know what to say. The team played beautiful, won it. It was never a doubt. Here's my skipper there, jumping around with the boys, excitement. Well done. That's 2 now.
Vincent Kompany in an interview, as soon as they won the league last season, he said, my thoughts turn immediately on retaining the Premier League title. Pep Guardiola, in his pre-match press conference, has said, will undoubtedly be stronger. How does this Man City team get even stronger? They're just littered with just talent everywhere. It's been a fantastic season.
Yes, I mean...
Can you see them getting even better next season?
Well, it's hard to sit here and say how they get better. And I think how they get better is probably not City, but it's actually the teams like Liverpool pushing them the way they did. And that brings out even a better quality in Liverpool, because the run of City that they went on is absolutely amazing. When they were 7 points behind Liverpool, and to claw that back, it could have went to 10, to claw that back and to win it by the one point. It's amazing to get 98 points after a season of getting 100 points. 2 seasons, 198 points. I mean, this is phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. Brilliant. I've lost my voice already, and I haven't even started celebrating.
Chris, also looking at the scenes at the Liverpool. Sorry, we cut you off because of the full-time whistle, but Jurgen Klopp, let's talk about these pictures. The expression on his face, it just looks like he's thinking to himself, what more could we have done? Looking at Virgil van Dijk, they're hugging, but you can tell these players are absolutely devastated that they're not lifting what would have been their first ever Premier League title.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, harder to take than when they came second when Brendan Rodgers was there, I imagine.
Yeah.
It'll be of no consolation to them that they've probably lost the league to the best, the best team the Premier League has seen.
You think that this is the best team the Premier League has ever seen?
Over the last couple of years, yeah, quite comfortably. I mean, we'll put European form aside, domestically. It's pretty unrivaled in that regard, aren't they? But listen, if they win the Champions League, it sets next season up nicely. One big trophy apiece for the two elite managers. And both keep up that momentum. Dave, what's going on?
Finish it,
on his feet.
For the Golden Boot. What's happened? Nothing.
A lot of other games have finished as well. Worth pointing out, Burnley v Arsenal is still going ahead. Dave, just quick update before we go to these scenes.
Yeah, we've literally got about 30 seconds of stoppage time for Pierre to get another goal and take the Golden Boot. Arsenal on the attack. Can they pick him out? It's only going to go to one person. Can they? Come on, put it on his head. Goal!
Who scored, Dave?
Is it Pierre?
It's Lacazette, isn't it? No.
And go.
Nketiah.
So Arsenal win 3-1.
Eddie Nketiah, it's a goal at Turf Moor.
He just needs 22 and he's won the goal.
We've got to go back to the story of the day at the Amex. Looking at these scenes, Sean, Pep Guardiola, we saw there. That is his 8th league title in 10 full seasons as manager. Absolutely incredible. 21 major trophies in his managerial career. Not even talking about the trophies that he won as a player as well. Since the start of last season, they've won 195 points before today, as you said. 198 points in 2 seasons. 159 goals in all comps before today. These are the scenes. Talk us through these unbelievable pictures we're watching. Yaya Toure is there in the celebrations.
Yes, and what was happening is Yaya's there, I think, is to interview a couple of the players, and they were absolutely smacking him on the head because Yaya always did that with players, smacked him on the head.
He did, didn't he?
And they just continuously smacked him for the best part of a good minute. So it looks like he's going to be interviewing a couple, but brilliant scenes at City because, to retain that is
big achievement, isn't it? And what we're seeing here as well, Pep Guardiola has gone to every single member of his playing staff, his coaching staff, and hugged them all individually. It's a real collective.
Thank you.
There you go.
Awesome.
There you go.
Awesome. Well done. Great job this season. Brilliant. Well done, Will.
Well, give him all a hug. There you go. Well done, Sean. There we go.
Great stuff there, Will. Awesome. Well done. Hey, you got a new contract. Yeah.
The goat to the Eagles. I think we'll definitely be getting the goat back on the Football Social, but I mean, let's try and put this achievement into perspective because we saw Man City. We've seen Man City teams in the past win league titles, win 2 trophies in a season with League Cup as well. They're on for the domestic treble, of course. Well, never been done before as well.
Yeah.
Phenomenal achievement.
This is what Pep is about. He doesn't just want to win the league or just win a title. The fact that the treble is on, he wanted the quadruple. Yes, it didn't happen, but he wants to win the treble because, again, that's an historical moment. That's an historical thing that he can achieve. Got the 100 points, 100 goals last season. This season, retaining the title. Last team to do that was 10 years ago, Sir Alex Ferguson. On for the treble. This is what Pep Guardiola is about. So I know it's some time before Pep Guardiola moves, but there has to be some succession plan because I don't know who's going to fill that void because the club are just on an amazing ride right now. And not only that, it's the beautiful game.
But look at these scenes, champions. They've prepared that banner before the game.
What a tifo that is. Absolute clip art job. Come on, you're better than that, City fans.
So City looking to become the first team ever, as we said, to win the domestic treble in English football. 198 points the last 2 seasons. First side to retain the Premier League trophy since Man United in 2009. The lead changing hands 33 times if you include today as well. It's been a phenomenal title race. And we're still seeing Pep, Dave, just hugging absolutely anyone he can get his hands on. Real team effort, unbelible.
It's 100 staff there, isn't it? So.
There's a lot of people to hug, Mikel Arteta as well. A lot of people speak very highly about the role Mikel Arteta has with the relationship with the players and how good a coach he'll become. So many people saying that he's going to become a great manager one day.
Well, it's so instrumental to have him because he understood the Premier League. Pep was coming from Spain and understanding La Liga, but Arteta, having had his time at Arsenal and previous with Everton, he knew the Premier League and he knew the hustle and bustle, the physicality of the team. And I think that bit of detail and information Pep learned from him in the first season was so vital in understanding But, you know, we all said when Pep came, you can't play football this way. Your goalkeeper as good as your holding midfielder. Well, there's a lot of people that watch this team and for the neutrals and just think, wow, absolutely brilliant. Today, it wasn't at the finest, but City don't really care because all the beautiful football was early part of the season, and really it was about getting over the line and winning the game. Here we're seeing scenes of him hugging Moraes, who hadn't played in the recent weeks, but this just goes to show his man management is up there with the best, and this is what you see with him and Klopp and Pochettino, and how they love and appreciate their players.
Look at those. Right, let's have a quick update. All of our games have finished, so before we go back to these scenes, we'll update you on all of the results. All the matches are done. This is what happened. Goals galore in the Premier League today. Brighton took the lead against Man City, courtesy of Glenn Murray after 27 minutes. Then goals from Sergio Aguero, Aymeric Laporte, Riyad Mahrez and Ilkay Gundogan made it Brighton 1, Man City 4. Manchester City are champions. Burnley finished 3-1 to Arsenal, should I say. Ashley Barnes opened the scoring, and then Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang with 2. Eddie Nketiah, Ashley Barnes, getting a goal back after Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang scored 2. Eddie Nketiah with 94th minute goals. It was a 3-1 Arsenal win. Game of the day in terms of goals is Crystal Palace 5, Bournemouth 3. Batshuayi with 2, Jack Simpson, Patrick Van Aanholt, Andros Townsend, and then Jefferson Lerma with an absolute screamer, Jordan Ivan, Joshua King for Bournemouth. Fulham 0, Newcastle 4, John Joe Shelby, Perez Shah and Solomon Rondon 0-0 Leicester Chelsea. Liverpool 2, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0, courtesy of 2 goals from Sadio Mane. A dreadful day for Man United as they lost 2-0 at home to Cardiff thanks to Nathaniel Mendes-Lang, 1 from the penalty spot, 1 from open play. It finished Southampton 1, Huddersfield 1, Nathan Redmond and Alex Pritchard. Spurs 2, Everton 2. Eric Dyer and Ericsson for Tottenham Hotspur with Theo Walcott and Cenk Tosun for Everton, and Watford 1, West Ham 4. Gerard Deulofeu for Watford. Mark Noble with 2 goals, Lanzini and Arnautovic. So goals galore on the Football Social tonight. The Premier League has finished, and this is what it means to the table. Manchester City are champions, 98 points, the second highest points total ever to win a Premier League title, plus 72 goal difference. Liverpool finished with 97 points, with only 1 defeat across the season, and finished second. Chelsea pipped Tottenham to 3rd place. They drew 0-0. Spurs finished 4th, and Arsenal finished 5th. So Arsenal, had they beaten Brighton last week, would have clinched 4th. But they didn't, Dave, so Arsenal finished in 5th. Yes, Dave. Man United finished in 6th and Wolves in 7th. Interestingly, Wolves will play in Europe next season. If Man City beat Watford, they will get the last Europa League spot. However, if Watford beat Man City in the FA Cup final, Watford will take the last European spot. 3 relegated teams, Cardiff, Fulham and Huddersfield. And Cardiff, in the end, only down by 2 points because of that result against Man United.
Sol Bamba.
Yeah, they've had a few decisions, didn't they, that went
was like the
against
Chelsea one,
them.
wasn't it?
Cardiff
Yeah.
first. They'll feel good season, but not quite good enough for them in terms of staying up. So that's how it finished. Chris, let's just get your thoughts on the season as a whole. I mean, it's been the title race has just been incredible. How do you reflect on
Sum it
the
up
season?
fairly quickly. I think I said it earlier that the best team in the league won, that prevailed. I think they had the tightest defence. Maybe not statistically in terms of clean sheets, but some of the sort of closer numbers that we look at, just prolific on every front. I don't think you're going to see domestic dominance maybe like this, while Liverpool are starting to put together what we all perceive to be a side able of winning the title. It's been really exciting. I think it's, in terms of the teams that have gone down, I think that was quite easy to envisage from probably halfway through the season, but the race for the top 4 has probably been equally as entertaining, as riveting as Manchester City securing the league title. Do we all think that the people who finished in 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, do we think it was deserved?
I think so.
I think
Over the course of 38 games?
They often say, don't they, with cup competitions, you can. Well, a lot of pundits and players say that cup competitions you can get a bit of luck to win a cup, but the league, the table tends to be quite honest because it's over the course of 38 games.
Yeah.
Is that how you see it?
Yeah, without doubt. I mean, over the 38 games, and City had the challenge, the period where Liverpool was 7 points, as we mentioned earlier, and for them to slowly claw that back and continue winning, it's just been phenomenal to watch it unfold and to see it, because yes, I was confident early on, but with what's happened over the past week, there's still a part of you that thinks maybe there could be something crazy that could happen. But Pep, he looks at the detail, and Moraes I'm not surprised that he comes up with something vital in the game, because this is how Pep looks at the game and thinks, I'll bring him in because he could be so vital to affecting the game. And Mahrez was one of those players.
So let's show you some of the stories of the day. We can show you some images of just how today's unfolded, because it's been a phenomenal day. Dave, got to go to you. Describe this as disgraceful performance. Here is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. How will he reflect on this result for Man United? Bad day at the office.
Well, I think it might be a blessing, and because he can literally say that any player he wants to get rid of in the summer now, he will have the full backing after today, because they were a disgrace. It was, as I said, there's ways of losing games, right? You don't expect your team to win every game. There's ways of losing them, right? You know, where you go out and you don't get outfought. And they were pathetic, absolutely pathetic. But I've just seen Pierre-Emerick with his golden boot. So all this nonsense about assists, mate.
Hold on.
Oh, look over there.
Hold on.
Yeah.
I mean, Salah has one as well.
The golden boot has been shared, with 3 people. It's been given to. Here are the scenes: Mo Salah,
who's got the
Sadio Mane sharing that one.
Yeah,
both
the
had
real,
scenes there. And we've also got a shot of Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang with another one as well. So Mo Salah, interestingly, has got more assists.
Don't care.
Don't care. You don't care. About that.
Cadbury's, who are giving out the award, they obviously don't care for the assist, do they?
No, they've got. Luckily, they had 2 on standby, wasn't it? Really.
Yeah. Can we get on screen now with Pierre?
Well, there we go.
And that right there is the real quiz.
That's the real quiz.
That's the real quiz, right?
He looks quite happy there. I mean, it's interesting as well, because obviously you're looking at shots of Mo Salah with the trophy. It's not the trophy he wanted to get his hands on.
Mane's not happy.
Disappointed if you don't get a cream egg with your golden boot.
We're looking at Salah there, and you can tell it's one of them where he's thinking.
Yeah, come on, round of applause.
Shared for the first time since 2011.
Pierre-Emerick.
I mean, imagine your keeper winning the Golden Gloves, 2 of your strikers sharing the Golden Boot and not winning the league.
Yeah, confirmed. Alisson has won the Golden Glove as well. 20 clean sheets between Alisson and for Man City as well, for Edison. So Alisson wins the Golden Glove due to the fact that Liverpool kept a clean sheet, Man City didn't. But yeah, it's a valid point, Chris. Every trophy individually,
as a team,
but not the Premier League.
We win trophies. Not clean sheets. Not clean sheets, and golden boots. We win trophies.
Shows how far they've come from. When you think of Liverpool's goalkeeper situation last year, with Karius going in and Alisson to win the Golden Glove this season, but just not good enough.
Sean, go on, down the camera. Sum up your thoughts. There's a lot of Man City fans watching, joining the stream. Sean, go to Man City legend. What do you want to say to City fans about this season that Man City have had?
Well, we've had a phenomenal season, They thought we couldn't retain it, but we knew we could retain it. And the city is blue. That's all I need to say.
And a message for the Liverpool fans?
Well, your city may be red, but you're second place.
Is that it? I was waiting for the
97 points. I wish you the best in the Champions League, because you do play a good part in the football, so you will have my support.
I thought Sean was being sworn in as president then in the United States. He's making you do not just 1 but 2, and for the Liverpool fans. Bloody hell, Smithy, mate.
Jerry Springer. Will, it's been an amazing season. Quick touch upon some of your games that you witnessed, because some phenomenal games that we've seen elsewhere today as well.
Well, I mean, we had a rut of football socials about February, March, where I think we had about 4 back-to-back 0-0, so I feel this is making up for it. We've had a 5-3, a 4-1.
5-3?
I don't remember them. I think McCubbin might have been it.
He's absolutely, apologies to Michael McCubbin if he's watching there. But yeah, some great games you saw.
Fantastic today. And some absolute screamers as well. I'm not just talking about you.
Yeah, pick out the ones that you saw, because they were all in your games, the great goals.
John Joe Shelby with
Jefferson Lerma.
Jefferson Lerma, yeah, fantastic. Mark Noble turning on his Maradona as
Ericsson with a nice free kick.
Ericsson with a nice free kick.
They're interviewing Bruno now.
Bruno's in tears.
He's in tears, yeah.
Let's turn your attention to that. Sad times.
Yeah, looking at Bruno now at the Amex Stadium. He's got fighting back the tears last game. It's good to see all the Amex. You mentioned a lot of the Man United fans leaving early. Yeah. No one has left the Amex Stadium early, of course. Great day for both clubs. Brighton staying in the Premier League and Man City winning the title. So it's the kind of game you can imagine both sets of fans going out and celebrating
so
on the
frustrated.
beach.
I'm so frustrated that we didn't get the win last week.
Just to confirm, Dave, if Arsenal had got the win against Brighton last week, you would be in the top 4 ahead of your nearest rivals, Tottenham Hotspur.
I mean, you went through that period. You could have said one of any of those 3 games
but that's the thing,
right? You were in pole position.
Yeah, like the league table doesn't lie. We are where we are.
Yeah.
I mean,
and you were fortunate to go on that run at the start.
Yeah, forget like today. I've only been like 4 points from 5 games. It's just not good enough.
Yeah, 1 point from 4 games. I think, and a draw and 3 defeats.
Didn't Arsene Wenger always get in the top 4?
There's a few didn't, but yeah, I think the thing is, I think if we'd have had Wenger this season, we definitely would have got top 4, considering how
100% for you. If Wenger was your manager,
for me, yeah.
you'd have had top 4.
But then again, the reason I think we're just scraping the Champions League by winning Europa League, right? To give Unai like a couple of transfer windows where he's got the Champions League in his back pocket, so he can attract the better quality player and the player that he would want to attract.
Yes.
So I think that's what we need to just try and
You
just
think like a director. Like a director.
He's not done a bad job, has
he hasn't.
He's not excelled in the same way that, you know, everyone expects, you know, that owing to Conte, owing to Mourinho, Ancelotti, when some foreign managers come from abroad, they've had success, it's like, oh, please turn us around straight away. But the problems are deeper than that, Arsenal.
It is, and it's just like, it was his last 5 games where if we could have just won one of them, we'd have been sorted. We'd have been into top 4.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because you look at Pochettino, Klopp and Pep Guardiola, regarded as world-class managers. Then you've got Sarri who's coming, a lot of Chelsea fans unhappy. You feel like Unai Emery's sort of in the middle. A lot of Arsenal fans are split with... There's the uncertainty still with him.
If we can win the Europa League, he has done a fantastic job.
Great season if you're in the Europa League.
If we win the Europa League,
and
if we don't, then it's been a poor season with some promising signs.
So all on that game.
Yeah, it really is. It really is.
We can bring you more shots now of what was a fantastic end to the season. We've got to give some appreciation to Jurgen Klopp. We can see scenes of him now. And Sean, we've spoken about body language of Pep Guardiola. What do you make of what you're seeing now with Klopp? It just looks like he's saying, what more could I have done? Proud of the players, but it's not what he wanted at the end of the season.
Yes, listen, he's very proud, and he'll be taking this moment in and you know, going around applauding the fans and everything, but he'll take this moment in, and this will be used for motivation in the Champions League final, because he'll say, remember this feeling, remember this taste, just remember this. It wasn't good, we fell short. You got 90 minutes, etc., 90 minutes or whatever, if it goes into extra time, to bring him the Champions League. So he'll use this moment that they're going around for the Champions League to say how the taste of it isn't good. And the players will be so up for it to try to get over the line.
Look how unified they are as a club, though, in comparison to all the other clubs. Even I don't think Pep Guardiola necessarily has this relationship with the fans either. They're in such good stead.
I think it is the two clubs that have the best relationship with fans and players are the 2 clubs in the Champions League final, you could argue, because Pochettino and the fans and Klopp and the fans have that incredible bond, which of course Pep Guardiola does as well. But it's interesting that's probably helped them get that far in the Champions League. Let's talk about the Champions League final. Tough game to call. Chris, how do you see that panning out? Do you look at the fact that Liverpool have lost the league, they've lost the Champions League final last season as an advantage to them, or do you look at Tottenham and how this incredible season for Spurs in the Champions League, how many times they've nearly been out as sort of destiny written for them? I mean, how do you see it panning out?
I was more dismissive of Spurs when we were on Football Social before, just to annoy you. I mean, Pochettino is doing absolute wonders, isn't it? It goes without saying Liverpool are a better side. Logic would dictate that they win, that your luck is eventually going to run out, right? Because you have been getting the rub of the green. Like, even in the Premier League, you capitulated in the last 2 months and still somehow finished in 4th place. So relatively speaking, a Champions League final in 4th place, given the squad that Pochettino has at his disposal, is just as big achievement as maybe Jurgen Klopp amassing 97 points when you look at the talent deficit. But I think either way, like if Klopp wins the Champions League, if Poch gets to the final and secures Champions League football, and Pep Guardiola having won the league, like they've all had really good seasons at the expense of everyone else.
Yes, crazy. Sean?
Yes, it is.
How do you predict the Champions League going?
It's a real tough one. I mean, Liverpool are favourites because the way they play and the fans, when they start singing "You Never Walk Alone," it really galvanizes the players, and it is essentially like an extra player. But Pochettino and his squad will have such huge belief because what they achieved in the 45 minutes, I think, was more difficult. 45 minutes to score the goals they needed to score and come away.
You think what Spurs had to do was more difficult than what Liverpool had to do?
From the point they had less time.
Yeah.
And the way the game was unfolded, the first half they were being played off the park. So no one really saw that outcome.
No.
I think with Liverpool's game, Liverpool against Barcelona, it was like, no, we didn't see that happening, and we always thought, yes, Barcelona will go and score a goal.
Yeah.
So Liverpool have done exceptionally well to score the 4 goals, but to have 45 minutes, you were played off the park first half, to still go on and score yourself the 2-3 goals was amazing by Tottenham. So they have a huge belief that even though they may go in as underdogs, that they could still come away winning that game.
And of course, if rumours are to be believed, Harry Kane might be fit for the final as well, which would be a massive, massive bonus for Tottenham ahead of that huge Champions League final. Dave, let's talk about Chelsea a bit as well, because I know that you covered the Leicester-Chelsea game. 0-0 in the end, not a classic. A lot of talk about Hazard now. We're looking at, we can show you scenes now. A lot of the Chelsea fans with Hazard banners. They want him to stay. Chelsea is your home, Eden Hazard. Looking at the shots now and how he played and what you've read, do you expect him to stay? How do you see that unfolded?
I can't see him being a Chelsea player come the start of the next season. I think their performance today, they did what they had to do. What they had to do was get a point to finish above Spurs, and they did that. They also didn't get any injuries ahead of the final, so they'll be very happy with today's work. If you're Eden Hazard, it's almost like now or never kind of thing, isn't it? Because like Real Madrid need to rebuild. They need him at the heart of it. So if they can go and bring him in, I think that's what they're going to do.
And also with Eden Hazard, people are saying it's a case of, well, we can't sell him because we can't bring players in for the next 2 windows. But does it go deeper than that? Do you think that the reason he might leave is just because the desire of the player to leave? It's not necessarily a transfer or a money thing. If Eden Hazard has his heart set on Real Madrid, is it not going to be very hard for Chelsea to keep him?
Yes, I mean, he's a hard guy to read, isn't it, in terms of what motivates him?
Yeah.
Because he can. His body language doesn't exude, motivation, and he can still be Chelsea's best player. And he has been involved in, like 40% of their goals this season or something ridiculous. I think this is just, he'll be acutely aware this is probably his last chance for a big money move. Being a wing-up, being a sort of hybrid, 10 as well, at 27, 28, he's probably at the peak of his powers now, and he'll want to make an impression at Real Madrid, won't he?
Yeah.
So maybe that's why he'll force it through, and the Zidane factor is not to be underestimated either.
Well, thoughts on Eden Hazard?
I think he'll be gone. You can just see in his post-match interviews as well, just the cheeky nature, the couple of winks to the camera. I mean, that was that video that went viral in the week.
The car.
In the car. You can just tell by... I mean, he's trying to be professional, but, I mean, the winks suggest otherwise, don't they? I think he'll be on his way.
You think so? You think that's
I think so,
that's a defining factor?
Well, the thing with the Premier League now, the gap between Manchester City and Liverpool are created. I mean, we spoke a lot about La Liga at the start and the dominance of Real Madrid and Barcelona. We could see Man City and Liverpool just trading titles and blows for next 5 to 10 seasons, because the gulf in class for them is just growing further and further.
Dave, in your games, you mentioned a point about no injuries, which is important. Obviously, 4 English teams, which is, without breaking down the teams individually, fantastic for English football.
It is.
Chelsea v Arsenal in Baku, of course, for the Europa League final. Liverpool against Spurs for the Champions League final. Any injuries for any of those 4 teams in the games that you saw?
There was a defender, the young Greek defender for Arsenal. He went off, but he wouldn't have started the game anyway. We managed to rest a few players. It was a shame that Koscielny had to come on. Again, it's another 2 goals for Aubameyang. We scored 3 on Thursday. He'll be in the form of his life at the moment. That's 5 in 2 games. Pierre-Emerick,
Yeah.
Doing bits. Golden Boot winner as well. Yeah, he'll be absolutely buzzing, won't he?
He will be buzzing, very true. So it's no injuries for those teams as far as we're aware.
No, as far as we're aware.
Unless there's any muscular ones, but we'll let you know if anything comes in. But good in terms of that sense. So we should have 2 fantastic all-English European finals. We can show you scenes of Tottenham now. These are the scenes at the full-time whistle. Pochettino. Sean, whatever happens with Spurs, it's been a phenomenal... For what Pochettino's done. Over 38 individual injuries they've had for this season. Signed no players in 2 transfer windows, which has never happened before in the Premier League since the transfer window has come in. Haven't had a stadium, been playing at Wembley Stadium, nearly out of the Champions League on 2 or 3 occasions. They've finished 4th, so they've got Champions League football, and they're in a Champions League final. It's a remarkable achievement, whatever happens.
Yes, it is. And, if he was to go win the Champions League, the amount of pressure that puts on Klopp, it puts on Pep Guardiola, because he spent no money. And again, for 3/4 of the season, they're playing at Wembley. They're not at home. So the players having to adjust to that whole season, and then still have the Champions League that they have to get to the finals. I think it's absolutely remarkable that he's managed to get there, and then having to get themselves through that first half, which was like a first half from, well, God knows where. It was just shocking. But to play a great second half. So if he was to go and win it, I think then that'll be a huge attraction then for
and then also
players.
from what you said about Liverpool, that catapult Spurs into a new level, because then they can attract players that they might not have necessarily attracted as champions of Europe. Fourth successive top 4 finish for Tottenham, became only the second side to lose the first leg of a European Cup / Champions League semi-final at home and progress to the final. Interestingly, Ajax, the only other side to do that in 1996. So great season for Mauricio Pochettino. Although with league form, 13 games lost in the season, it's been a very tight battle for fourth, hasn't it? And it's one where all the teams have dropped points going into that. I mean, again, today, Chris, we talk about the battle for top 4. Spurs have drawn, Chelsea have drawn, Man United have lost. So if you look at the form guide for those 4 teams that have battled for top form, it's been pretty poor from all 4 of them in comparison to Liverpool and Man City.
Yeah, well, at different points throughout the season as well, which is kind of why no one's been able to take advantage. Chelsea had a great start, Arsenal and Tottenham had poor finishes. Manchester United had a decent, second third of the season. So yeah, consistency is what they're struggling with, but that is owing to different factors, and in certain regards or in certain teams, I suppose those factors are easier to resolve than others. Like Spurs, one or two strong additions. We talked about it earlier, didn't we? Manchester United might need 4 or 5. Yeah. It might be a culture change at the club. It might be appointing, someone who they've been after, like Paul Mitchell from RB Leipzig, a sporting director. Chelsea, will the transfer ban mean that they have to blood youngsters, which is something that Sarri's traditionally hasn't done all that well. Even at Napoli, he kept a very sort of rigid 11. So there's a really interesting complexity for next season. I do think that the Spurs and Arsenal's problems are probably easier to solve than United's and Chelsea's, although Chelsea have a better manager than United. So there's caveats with it all. But yeah, it's. I don't think even the table now is a strong indication of who will finish 3rd and 4th next year.
We've got some shots as well from Leicester as well. We spoke about that. Finished 0-0. A good end to the season for Leicester. Brendan Rodgers coming in. Of course, worth pointing out as well, it's been a horrific, devastating season with all the scenes that happened with the tragic helicopter crash and all the thoughts with the family and everyone concerned with Leicester, from everyone, Soccer and Football Daily. And it's worth putting into perspective that we talk about how well Leicester have done, Dave, on the football pitch, but what they've had to deal with and overcome. I mean, such a tragic incident, and it's nice to see that these scenes. I was at Leicester a few weeks ago, and you can see that there's still flowers there, there's still memory. It's just nice that this will never be forgotten, but it was such a tragic moment for football this season.
No, I agree, and they've done well to kind of put them things to a side to an extent and be able to perform on the football pitch, to be fair. And as you say, they'll never be forgotten, kind of what happened, and they're just trying to do as best they can to move forward, I guess.
The best possible scenarios come out of it wherein it's almost tightened the bond between Vishar's son and the community, because they create a lot of jobs in the community. Leicester's not necessarily a place where there's a plethora of opportunity when it comes to football, when it comes to media. They've opened a new stats department, they're building a new training facility, so it's strengthened the bond. Obviously, it's tragic that it has to be under such circumstances, but everyone's doing the best they possibly can.
And Leicester from there, Chris, better than any of us here, and like you touched upon there, it wasn't just what they did on the football pitch, invested an incredible amount of money in the football, but with the community as well. They were loved, not just by Leicester City fans, but the community of Leicester itself.
Yeah, so like I said, and it's because they were creating a lot of opportunity, and they were kind of doing so. Like, it's very rare that you get owners who come in. I suppose obviously winning the league helps. Being part of that underdog story has made the town and the owners very simpatico. But it's very rare that you have owners that are putting the money in to create good, solid infrastructure, as opposed to getting something out of it for themselves as well. So I think their intentions are really good, and people in Leicester recognise that. And long may that relationship continue.
Yeah, well said. So just touching upon what has been an amazing season, obviously the big story is we're looking at shots off screen as well of Man City fans in the sunshine, basking in the glory of the Premier League title. It's just emphasised, we'll talk about the players in a bit, but Pep Guardiola, in his 10 seasons as a manager, has won 906 points out of a possible 1,104. Has won 8 league titles in 3 countries, 3 with Barcelona, 3 with Bayern Munich, 2 in Man City. Today was only the second time in his 8 title wins that it has been decided on the final day. The other one was Barcelona in 2009, 2010, where they famously picked Real Madrid. Now won 22 major trophies in an 11-year managerial career. simply phenomenal, Sean.
Simply phenomenal. And, you know, the fans, City fans, they really deserve this moment in terms of retaining the title, the beautiful style of football that is played. You know, all the higher-ups, you know, to go and get Pep Guardiola to Man City, to have the vision, to bring him here, to change the style of football, that all can really be envy. And in fact, I was in a meeting and listening to Farhan talk about the attraction that the City are trying to have, and they said, you know, it's a beautiful game, and the way the game is being played is one. The other thing is City fans having support around in the many different clubs. But he spoke highly about the brand of football, and he compared, he said, with Man United. With all the success they had, they can't speak of the brand of football. So I think they really, that's a huge part in City in the future, and where they want to go is key to it, the brand of football and who they want to attract in terms of the players. And they got the right men there, and you know, the players that he's recruited, you can't argue against. You can't say, well, he's needed more time. The players have all delivered. They haven't taken a huge amount of time to settling in. You know, so it's just been a brilliant time to witness what's going on at City as a fan and observe it.
Yeah, it's been a brilliant time. Great time for Manchester City fans. We'll stay with us because we're waiting on scenes of them lifting the famous Premier League trophy. So before we bring you those scenes, let's have a little look back at some of the best bits on the Football Social this season. Jose Mourinho, thoughts?
I think this is a second half football club. They are fantastic. Paul Pogba very happy in the audience. Sean Gotter, you're very quiet.
Sergio! He's only won the treble. It's Andy Cole is on the show. Luis Garcia. Joining me, a Premier League legend. Clinton, what time's he arriving?
What time? I don't know. Oh no, he got me.
It's Say something. What can I say? Pedro, whippy.
Salah, this weekend has been fun.
Joseph, my old freckled chum.
Producer, fill everyone. What
Comedian, presenter, funny man. Anything else I've said to that? It is Alex Brooks, of course.
That'll do.
Glenn Johnson.
It's only me though.
Vino!
What's the score? Yes!
Football Daily almost coming across professional here, Dave.
He's talking nonsense.
Luckily, the camera can't quite pick that up. Thank you very much, Chemistry.
Come on, man. Don't worry, man. And then no, don't do that.
Oh my gosh, what a goal! Oh! So if I did that,
What are you gonna do?
whoa! You'd be like,
I can't breathe! Oh, no football gods! No football gods!
oh my God!
Oh, thank you for getting me on this show.
So there we go, some unbelievable moments. Let's have a look. Will, favourite moment of the season so far, what do you reckon?
Bayo playing my leg, reacting to Townsend, meeting three friends for life, and Sean as well. Just fantastic.
Dave, quickly, best moment, do you think?
I think the Arsenal-Liverpool game,
Yeah.
where we got a last-minute equaliser with Lacazette, and that was a beautiful
I
moment.
thought you were going to say the Townsend goal because we were watching two games and you were the one that
Yeah,
spotted
I
that,
spotted
and
it.
it was.
Bam.
It was
Yeah.
your face just was like we've missed something big here.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
a massive goal. Is it actual goal of the season? It hasn't been decided yet, has it? That will be like the coming
I think that's definitely going to be up there, yeah.
Up there, won't it? Yeah.
Sean, obviously you featured in that. Many great moments. You enjoyed being part of the show?
Oh, yes, love it.
We're looking to get you back on again. Would you?
Yeah, definitely. Sure.
Go on. My best moment certainly will be in about 30 seconds' time. And Vincent Kompany's goal.
Hamill, best moment for you of the season, what do you reckon?
Oh, mate, been that, been part of that many shows, they've kind of just melded into one. But I'm
company.
very proud of the way we've gone from, Joe being on one sofa and, the rest of you being on the other in the opening episode to where we are now.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Fantastic.
Looking slick, everyone behind the scenes making it tick. So, nice.
It's hard to pick a best moment. I think that just the plethora of guests that we've managed to attract and bring on and what the show's become has been great. Some great stories, and none bigger than this one that we're going to show you right now. Because there is the man, Sean. You said that this is going to be a highlight of being on the Football Social, the highlight of Man City. Quickly, does this eclipse last season? People said that last season's Premier League title couldn't be eclipsed because of the points. Man City had record points. But does this one eclipse it based on the fact that the challenge they had from Liverpool was so strong?
Yes, and that's exactly why. He would know deep down that this was more difficult of a season. Even as exceptional as the team was last season, this is a huge, huge achievement to retain it. But with Liverpool pushing City right to the end, this is a huge achievement by City, and for me, greater than last season. To have that consistency. Yes, listen, hold.
Greater than last season for you.
It's Pep.
There we go.
It's Pep. There you go. In Pep we trust.
In Pep we trust. Wow, here we go. Every single member of his coaching staff.
Right, yeah.
You're right, saying it's a big coaching staff, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it is. You'd be all hugged out by that time, high-fived out, eh? But hey, when City come, we come with 100 strong.
Yeah. And here we go.
Yes, Walker.
There they go, and they've all got Champions 19 written on the back. There we go. Live scenes we're giving you right now from the Amex Stadium. Pep Guardiola about to get his hands on that famous Premier League trophy, retaining the Premier League trophy, which doesn't happen very often. Man City have done it.
It's a good contrast that screens that we've got at the moment. Jurgen Klopp scratching his beard and Pep celebrating in the sun in Brighton.
Yeah.
I can't believe I ain't got my scarf behind here. What happened, guys? You got my scarf?
Where's it? If anyone's got Sean's scarf behind the camera. Chris, there's so many players that we're looking at now that have had fantastic seasons. If you had to pick one City player as a sort of standout season, who'd you go for?
I mean, we kind of alluded to this earlier, didn't we, with the fact that Liverpool have won so many individual awards, that it has been a collective effort at Manchester City. When at various points throughout the season, they dealt with De Bruyne injuries, they dealt with Fernandinho injuries, who were like vital cogs. They were the engine room in that kind of machine of dominance, weren't they? Laporte's made a big difference. Obviously, this is his first full season. He came in January last year, didn't he? He's kind of centre-backs have been rotated around him, but. Sergio Aguero potentially just for the unbelievable consistency.
Raheem Sterling.
What's that, 5 or 6 seasons with 20-plus goals? Raheem Sterling as well. Whether it's him or Van Dijk, wasn't it, for PFA players? Yeah. I'd be happy to say Aguero or Sterling.
I think Bernardo Silva's had a very good season as well.
Yeah.
In terms of improvement from where he was last season as a squad player.
And we say
someone who now played in a lot of their big games.
I just mentioned it then. The ability to problem solve is a strength of Pep's, but it's been relatively easy because they've just dropped Bernardo Silva, in as and when, haven't they?
Yeah.
And he's been brilliant everywhere he's played.
And look at all these players just picking up their medals. John Stones, another one who's had an influential season for Manchester City. So many players.
Yes, you have to. I mean, for all of them, you have to be happy and pleased. But Stones and Walker, these players left clubs and saying, I'm going there because I want to under Pep, I want to win trophies and medals and second season they've been able to do it, so they'll be speaking with some of their other teammates and saying, not rubbing it in, but in a way of, I've made the right choice. So brilliant. Camera's now on Fabian Delph.
Yeah.
I mean, he came in for a period early part of the season and we were like, wow, he doesn't look out of place. And then as the season wore on, got a little couple of injuries here and there, but each player, when they came in, just performed. Otamendi was brilliant early part of the season.
But this shows the strength and depth they've got, because we're looking at them one by one, and all of them, you can't fault any of them, really, for having a bad season. They've all stepped up to the plate. He's rotated, they've dealt with injuries well. It's just been a great collective team effort.
Great collective team. We're now looking at Zinchenko. I would have thought that last season he was one that would be out, but he has held that position down so well, so consistent. I thought perhaps if he came up against a player with like a Mane, with pace, he may have got exposed, but he just never got exposed. And that's partly down to his performance, but also down to Pep's tactics and how he played.
Yeah.
So Gundogan doesn't get enough credit. The last few games he's played, I tell you, he hasn't put a foot wrong. He's just controlled games. And, you know, I've seen it. I've had an eye and thought, this guy has been absolutely brilliant. Controlling games, in that midfield, holding it. So hopefully we can get him sealed down with a new contract.
And Raheem Sterling, there he is. One of the players of the season. I mean, for what he's done, not just on the pitch, but off the field as well, with, you know, been a real sort of...
He's been a
person
leader
that stood up for racism, that sorted out tickets for schools at cup finals at Wembley, that's just spoken so well in the media, that's upped his game for Man City and for England, where some people said England was where he wasn't replicating the performances for Man City. That's gone out the window because just everything about Raheem Sterling on and off the field this year is faultless, isn't it?
That's exactly, faultless. He's ticked all the boxes. Off the field, he's become, you know, sort of he realises he's got the platform
a trailblazer, if you like.
Yes, to speak up on things like racism and not affect his game. He's like parked it over there and put it out there for people to know and recognise it and realise it, and then saying, right, that's over there. I'm now performing, I'm playing, I'm not letting that affect my game. And you know, he's now at this place and platform where people can, you know, he's a leader. Even as young as he is, he's a leader that a lot of players will look up to, and certainly also black players will look up to.
Yeah, Kevin De Bruyne as well. Put him out. I mean, as a player that was injured for so long in the season, you take a player like that out of your team.
Yeah.
You know, one of Man City's easily one of Man City's best players last season.
Easy, and
you know, and if you take other players out of other Premier League teams, you think they're going to struggle, but they haven't struggled without him.
Yeah, and this is the amazing thing, and I don't. I sit here and watch City every week, and I don't know how Pep is able to do this. And then I do also know, because we have quality players, but they know his philosophy, they know his style, what he wants. Fernandinho, brilliant player, exceptional.
Another one that's had injuries as well.
Had injuries, but when he plays, he always seems to play at sort of 8.5 and up.
Yeah.
You know, a bad game for Fernandinho is like a 8. And I think I recall one game when he didn't play so well, and it was like, wow, he can't play a bad game. That's how consistent these players are.
Yeah. Fourth Premier League medal for David Silva as well.
I mean,
Man City legend, isn't he?
Listen, they're going to have to acquire a lot of land around the stadium, because it's going to need a lot of statues.
Yeah, and what about this man? I mean, what an important goal that turned out to be. And look what it means to Vincent Kompany.
Yes, go on.
You actually get goosebumps when you watching Vincent Kompany.
Yeah.
Just a legend going.
He's class as well.
And again, someone you talk about on and off the pitch. Leader, legend, just everything about the guy.
Yes, leader.
And Sean Gota, talk us through these scenes. Man City legend, one to another. Vincent Kompany lifting the Premier League title for Manchester City.
Well, this is what the hard work is all about. This moment right here, putting the extra work in the heart. This is what it's about. Winning those medals, retaining the title. Exceptional stuff. I've lost my voice, but we're about to party. Come on!
We're about to party, apparently. Dave Jackson, let's get his thoughts on this season. Where does this Man City team rank in terms of greatest Premier League teams of all time? You've had your Arsenal invincible team, of course, the Man United treble winners, famous Chelsea teams in the past. Leicester did the unthinkable when they won, of course. Where does this Man City team stand? Because this has been a phenomenal achievement.
Yeah, well, they're definitely up there as one of the greatest. The fact they're able to retain, that's something Arsenal never been able to do in the Premier League era. We're never able to retain the title.
Very rare, isn't it, retaining the Premier League title?
I just think like the seasons of City and Liverpool, they've been absolutely fantastic, and you kind of have to feel a little bit for Liverpool. Like I don't know what more they could have done, but it just shows to show how good this Man City team is, and and they are definitely going to spend again in the summer. They're going to get better, they're going to get stronger.
Yeah. Pep said that, didn't he? Undoubtedly, we will
What's
get stronger.
the point?
Yeah. Chris, what was the turning point for you, do you think, when it went from Liverpool to Man City in the season? Is there a moment that... Because Liverpool had a big lead in Christmas time. Lost that City game, I think the 3rd of January that was. Was that a moment for you, or was there a game that you thought, oh, it's Man City's now?
I mean, even when Man City had that bad period, you thought this is just a bad period. I don't see this setting in, and it's not like they were coming undone at the seams, was it? No, with these aside, you know, two sides of this calibre, I thought it'd go down to the final weeks of the season. I think most people probably did, given the form they were producing at the start of the campaign. And unfortunately, you know, it's cruel, but City were marginally better.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that makes it easier for Liverpool fans in any regards, particularly being in the Champions League final. But they've lost to worthy champions. They've not lost. They've not lost, you know, to a crap goal on the last day of the season. I don't think there's been a hugely unlucky moment. If we're talking fine margins, obviously John Stones, he cleared one off the line, didn't he? And then there was the fact that the Aguero.
Burnley.
Yeah, against Burnley was 2.5 centimetres away from being over.
Margins there.
So, but yeah, two sides of the elitist order, and it was always going to be those fine margins that separate them.
So congratulations to Man City. Final thought from you, Sean Goetz. It's been great having you on the show again on Man City this season.
I mean, what we're seeing here is a great team and greatness, but my mind sort of goes now to someone like Phil Foden. As young as he is, he's won 2 Premier League medals, and it just shows you that he's someone that's come through the academy. Next season, I'm sure he'll get more games, but this team here could only get better. When I say get better, as in, it's the Champions League, it's the next one, and this is what we'll be looking for next season, but they deserve it. They put the work in, they're a quality team. They play the game in a beautiful way, from the goalkeeper right the way through.
Yeah, fantastic. Right, that is the last Football Social of the season, but we will be back over the course of the summer with some special watch-alongs. And the next one is only next week. So do not worry, we'll be back very short. Saturday, May the 18th, the Football Social, the FA Cup Final watch-along special, 4:45. Soccer M and Football Daily's YouTube channel is Manchester City against Watford. And of course, the chance for Manchester City to be the first team in English football to win a domestic treble in Premier League history. So massive thank you to everyone. Sean, thank you very much for coming back on the show again. Congratulations, your Man City. Chris, brilliant having you on as always, mate. Hey, fantastic season, and Will, thank you very much for everyone's thoughts and appearances all season. Thank you everyone for getting involved in the comments, and we will see you next weekend. Have a great weekend. Goodbye.